it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Day Dave, and this is Farm Sim Talk, a show where we get to interview other creators within the Farm Sim community. And tonight, I am joined here by Trucker Matzy. Trucker Matzy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm feeling a little compressed.
Little inside joke before the show there, everybody. But no, you're doing good? You having a good day so far?
I'm doing all right. It's evening. Well, I guess it is evening. It's still kind of. I see a little crack above the, like, whatever it's called, the window, but like the curtain, and it's still daylight. But anyways, I'm doing all right. Yeah,
Excellent,
nothing too
excellent.
crazy.
Awesome. Well, tell me, let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, I'm on YouTube, Trucker underscore Matzy, Twitch as well. And of course, Facebook, which I don't really. I posted once last night actually on there. First time in like before the map was released. And I really haven't done anything on the Twitch, which I need to do that as well. But mainly YouTube and Twitch are my two regular contributions. There we go.
Gotcha. And before we get started, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Shouty yowdy!
That's a shout out
Honestly,
right there.
we all know who that shout out is. That's Mr. DJ Goham, who was the inspiration of my channel and all that fun stuff. So me and him go back a little over 5 years now. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, it's
Awesome.
been a hot minute. So
Awesome. Awesome. Now, before we get started with the interview, do you want to let everybody know who you are and what it is that you do here within the Farm Sim community?
who am I? Oh my, that's a loaded question right there. Well, I know I haven't been modding, like official modding, like within this last year. Like before that, I kind of just toyed around, did some, larger capacities, just like basic stuff. But we were talking about like outside of the, like what am I outside of the modding deal, or is
Mm-hmm.
this the okay? So obviously I'm a trucker, hence the name Trucker Matzy. But now I do more local runs, turkey feed using like an auger wagon, auger trailer, very similar to like the Meridian in the base game. The long trailer with like the 6 compartments, but my trailer has 8 compartments, and the auger is a little bit different. But it's kind of that is what I use. But anyways, I like the outdoors. I like to go fishing. I live in Minnesota. Wouldn't that be cardinal sin if I didn't like fishing living up here? We have
What
a
is the
couple
land
lakes
of the
up here.
thousand lakes or something?
10,000
10,000.
is the logo, or the tagline or whatever. But we actually have about 14,000,
Ooh.
give or take. So yeah, no. And y'all think I'm crazy, but I love winters too. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in winter. Obviously, a little chilly at times. You got to warm up, bundle up. But here's one thing: you can only take so much off, but you can put way more on in the wintertime.
Oh my goodness. I have said that same tagline so many times. I mean, identical. Identical. And everybody looks at me like I'm crazy because I always tell them from Florida. And they're like, oh man, it's hot down there, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm
Mhm.
from Michigan originally. And yeah, right there with you. I could always put more clothes on. I can only take so much off before people start to complain.
Right?
Oh,
um,
goodness.
but yeah, no. So I Okay, growing up, I did participate in some sports, but I was never like um an actual role player for the team. I was like the last guy at the end of the bench, you know. It was more just, you know, there hanging out, having fun, and just, you know, the experience more so than actually being like athletic or whatever. So
And which sports was those?
oh yeah. Football for 3 years, basketball for 4. I never did any spring sports. I don't know why. It just didn't really happen. So,
Okay. So, when you played football, what positions did you play?
um, which year? No, no. Okay. So back in like before high school, like back, it was more of a technically it was like private school, but it was just the Lutheran school I went to. We played like flag football.
Okay.
And I was more of like a lineman type person because all you do is you put your arms up like this. You know, you're not really like doing anything. You're just basically getting in the way is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, see,
Um,
perhaps that's why you were at the end of the bench, is because you weren't just trucking people down. You weren't showing enough fire and grit.
oh, that's funny. Oh, actually, so funny story about that. I think this was 6th grade. Basically, we were getting ready for because there's really only 2 other teams we played against all year because there wasn't really, flag football schools, you know? And so, we were just kinda, like, practicing or whatever, and the coach said to us, like, "Hey, if y'all hold them here, for the 4 downs or whatever, then you'll get, like, a pizza party or whatever, right?"
Ooh, that's motivation.
The first play, I sacked the quarterback, like
See,
and this is
motivation.
and this yeah, and we were like, the second team. We weren't just, because we were just kind of the scout team or whatever you want to call it, and so that was kind of cool and yeah, so that was kind of neat little story there. But um, we did end up holding them, and it was I'm not saying it was integral because of my play. However, it didn't hurt.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I grew up playing, sports. I played football, hockey, baseball, the whole nine yards. And yeah,
Man,
it was good times.
hockey's expensive.
It is very expensive. And I was a goalie.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you were even more expensive.
Hmm.
I think it was like in my town, it was just $300 just to be able to play.
Yep.
Not to mention, you got to buy the equipment, and then your parents or whatever have to like commit to like so much uh server, like so many hours of service or whatever to get So yeah, that was definitely not in the cards. Not for this broke boy growing up, so
Oh, trust me, my parents, they thought of every trick in the book to make things cheaper that they possibly could. So we went to all the refurbished stores. Played Against Sports was our best friend at the time. Yeah, we basically lived, probably third hand shops is how everything kind of went down that route. But it was
right.
tons of fun. It was absolutely tons of fun. So
Hmm.
let's go ahead and get into our first segment here. We're going to call this one Digging Up Dirt. This is a segment where we get to know you a little bit more for who you are outside of the sphere of farm sim. So, you mentioned that you do trucking, like in real life.
Yeah.
Um, do you tend to find that having a full-time job outside of things, does it tend to kind of interfere with your ability to be able to be creative in the in the sphere of farm sim?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. More so, I mean, I can think of things while I'm working, like, "Oh, this is something I could, like, maybe correlate or integrate into, like, content creation or, the other like, the modding part side of things, right? Um, but, like I was telling you before we started the program, like, 1 week, a few weeks ago, I put in 66 hours in 5 days, like, that's that literally is get home, grab a bite to eat, go to bed, wake up, do it all over again, And
Mhm.
that's partially why you haven't really seen many videos come out last few weeks. Which is hilarious because I've recorded videos. It's that darn editing thing that's getting in the way, because I think I have like 5 or 6 videos just sitting there.
Oh, yeah, see, a lot of
So
people don't know the recording part's easy. You can just sit in front of the
yeah,
camera and just do that. But that's
right,
the editing, that's what takes all the time.
yeah. And that's why a lot of people are like, "Well, I just stream." I'm like, "Okay." And, like, okay, so I can say, "Hey, we'll try doing some videos," and then because then you get residual from that, like, not like money or whatever, but just like if a video is out there, people can just find it at any point in time, where if you only stream, like, people are only watching you when you're live. They're not watching for videos or whatever. They're not gonna come and watch a live stream, like, after the fact, because the whole point of live streams is, "Hey, I'm gonna mess with this streamer and, do whatever with, super chats," or on Twitch, you got the bits and the Tangia stuff and, you
Mhm.
know. So, anyways, I feel like the videos is still what drives my channel, flat out, you know?
And that
And as
makes
you
sorry, go ahead.
I say, as you might also have come and, play with some of that too, like, as you have your own channel as well. So, I don't know. It's just, I feel you need to have some mixture of both, not just one or the other. So,
I absolutely agree. 100%. It's nice to do the videos, like the live streams, because you're able to interact with everybody. You're able to, get to know them on a kind of a deeper level. But then, like the actual content itself, the edited stuff, like that is going to be out there. That's going to draw more eyes over a longer period of time, rather than I'm only able to capture people in the moment. 100% agree with you.
yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that some of your hobbies were fishing. When you go fishing, is there anything in particular you go for, or are you just going just to have a good old time?
I mean, no matter what, the end goal is have a good old time.
Hmm.
However, I like big, long, shiny fish, okay? Give me some bass, give me some pike, give me some walleye, I when and it's my brother is the worst at this. He will do, like, anything he's like he wants to keep. I'm like, "No, like, that's not worth my time of, it takes to clean it,"
Hmm.
It's just like a little nugget maybe, and it's just like and he's like, "Oh, is this a keeper?" And I'm like, "Really? You have to ask."
Well, and especially depending on the fish, like you mentioned, pike. Pike have tons of bones all around the
Yeah.
rib cage. There, it's not worth it. Like to like they're fun to
Well,
catch.
kinda, because I will tell you, it's very similar to bass,
Yes.
because bass have the same deal, but if you know where to just cut that one little strip, you're good. Like,
Yep.
you get rid of the you know, but yeah, and pike, like, you know, wide bone aside, they are very tasty because 'cause they're such a clean fish, and it's just I don't know. I think partially because of where they sit in the water, they don't really go in the bottom. they're not really, way up high, or the shallow water where the sun gets them in the summertime. Because like I've always tell people, like, get bass when you can early, because once mid July and August hits and they get warm, it doesn't taste as good. So
Mhm. Oh yeah, and yeah, generally, especially during the colder months, yeah, they kind of get that really nice kind of game taste out of them, and they tend to be kind of a
mhm.
milder flavor during the winter time. I used to love when I lived in Michigan. We used to go ice fishing all the time. We'd set up the
Yeah,
shanty, bore out a couple of holes. Do you do a lot of ice fishing or?
I went for the first time this last season.
Okay.
It's not because I didn't want to, because I kind of did. I just didn't know anybody that had, gear, right? I mean, eventually I could get some gear, but I don't trust myself as far as, like, okay, figuring out when the ice is good or not. Like, if I know there's a bunch of other houses out on there, great. I'll go with them. But I don't know. Call me a chicken if you want. Better, Waterboy says. My mama says it's always better to be safe than sorry.
100%. Yeah, it's one of those that if you don't know the conditions, don't do it. 100% agree with you there. I actually had a buddy of mine. He was actually somebody I played hockey with. He decided that he was going to go out late one season with his skates and whatnot, and he starts skating out on the ice, on the lake that's just out behind his house. And funny enough, the original name of this lake was Dead Lake. They changed it once they built up the subdivision in that town. They called it
Yeah,
Wildwood Lake. But I'd always grown up knowing it as Dead Lake. And he had gone out there, skates and all, broke through the ice. Thankfully, where he broke through was only like up to his chest.
yeah.
So when he hit the ground, his skates dug into the muck and the mud. So he was having a hard time getting out. But thankfully, there was
Oof.
me and other people around. We were able to go out to him and drag him out. But it was a
Yeah.
whole ordeal because once he got out of there, he had to rip off his shoes or his skates. He couldn't put his shoes back on.
Hmm.
And we basically just dragged him all the way back up to the house, just shivering and freezing the whole way there. We threw him inside. He ended up
Yeah.
stripping down and getting all like in the blankets and towels and all that stuff. It was an absolute nightmare. Thankfully he didn't end up
Yeah.
losing a toe or something.
Right. So it took him a while for people to recognize that he fell in. I'm guessing.
No, thankfully not, because there was other people that were there. I was there with him,
Oh, okay. You were there.
and
Okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
I was staying on shore, kind of thing. He just wanted to go out there and kind of do his own thing. And I was just kind of hanging out and just yelling at him from the shore, calling him an idiot, and he proved me right.
Well.
I told him, it's like, dude, that ice just it looks really, really thin from
Yeah.
here. It's like, I'm not gonna
Well,
test it, but you do you.
and personally, like, okay, if not that I would ever even think about that scenario of, like, trying, but I think ice skates would be the last thing I would take out there.
Mm-hmm.
Once you want something that covers more surface, like a snowshoe or like skis, something that, can kind of distribute the weight, so like you're not as concentrated.
Well,
So I don't know.
and that's exactly why he broke through is because he had all of his weight on two little blades and just
Yeah.
he was like there 1 second, he was about 3 feet shorter the next.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's not good.
So you guys like get a rope on him, or what? How did you get?
So I ended up crawling out there. Another buddy of mine that was out on the bank there crawled out behind me. So we just basically like laid down on
Did
the
it?
ice and just
Did it like a
dragged him
link?
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't that deep. It was just like about maybe
Yeah.
above his belly button kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was he was not happy that day.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't get an ear infection and get slapped by Mr. Gregor.
Uh oh.
What was his name? You know, from It's a Wonderful Life. George
Ah,
Bailey.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, well, it was like an older movie, so that not everybody. It's like a holiday classic type of deal. So, anyways,
I gotcha.
Somebody will get it.
Somebody out there in the audience will understand. So, speaking of movies and TV, do you have any favorite books, movies, or music?
Not really books, but movies and music. The answer would be yes.
Okay, what would you consider as like your favorite genre of movie?
Um, comedy. Like I would definitely say like kind of Marvel, Deadpool, like action and Deadpool. Something more funny and Deadpool. Definitely noticing a trend there with how many times I said Deadpool.
Are you a fan? I could
No,
would have
no,
never
no,
guessed
no.
it.
No, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I think, in my opinion, Ryan Reynolds was the perfect role, the perfect person
Oh,
for that role.
legit. Well, and the thing is, I've been a Ryan Reynolds fan since, and nobody will say that they've seen this movie. I guarantee it. Since Buying the Cow.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
You have no
Oh,
idea what movie it is, do you?
no, no, I do. I
Oh,
asked,
you do.
why
Okay,
buy the
okay.
cow when you get the
I
milk
thought
for
you were
free?
messing with me at first.
No, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? I know exactly what
Yeah.
movie you're talking about.
Do you like what you see?
Oh my god, it's been so long since I've seen it, but man, was that so he
Uh,
did so good in that. Oh
yes,
my
yes, he
goodness.
did. And that's yeah.
Yeah, there
Which
was
is funny because they did a throwback on that in Deadpool.
oh, you're right. I didn't even
Hmm.
dawn on me.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're
That's
welcome.
awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And he's such a good actor too. I mean, he's done like Waiting. That was a really good one. That makes me
Yes.
never want to
Oh
ever
my
make a,
goodness.
a worker in a fast food or any kind of, food industry
Ooh.
mad ever.
And when the one guy got the special move, I'm like,
Oh,
oh my goodness.
the no, was it the goat?
I don't remember the phrase of it, but it was a very he had to work hard to get that move. And he did.
And the one random guy who didn't say a
Uh
word throughout the whole movie, maybe about 2 words in the whole thing, and then all of a sudden he's the one, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the
right.
man! Get it back in here!"
Right. Yeah, no.
Oh my goodness! Oh, hysterical!
You'll never think of custard filled donuts the same. Got him.
Van Wilder. Oh my goodness! Oh wow! I had almost forgotten about that. Puts a new word to Boston cream, right? Whew. Wow. Oh, hysterical. Hysterical. Oh man. Yeah, no, he's such a funny guy. And it's that whole kind of deadpan kind of comedy that he has. It's just
Yeah.
like such it's almost hard to describe because it is comedy, but it's just such delivered in such a way that's so
Yeah.
dry that
Yeah.
it's hysterical.
Right?
Like I would argue that he's probably one that's like pioneered that style to such an
Yeah.
nth degree, and it got it absolutely perfect.
Right.
So
Which is
go
oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say it's really funny because my mom loves the movie The Proposal,
Okay.
you know, but she hates Deadpool. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's the same guy, mom.
Oh,
Why you be hating?
Is it just the kind of the dirty level
It's
that
the
that
it's the off color, like, she
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
So what about music? What kind of music are you into?
Everything but opera.
Okay,
I
okay.
I am not kidding. If you watch me on my Twitch, you know my music is has a very wide variety.
Who would you
So,
say is your favorite artist?
oh jeez. It's so hard to pick one.
That's why I gotta ask.
Make me think on this. Favorite artist. Can I just rattle off a few of them? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
absolutely. Absolutely. Go for it.
Well, Hailstorm.
Okay.
That's one that's definitely up there. Toby Mac is up there. Um, what was trying to think what the other? Oh, Slipknot.
Okay.
And
Okay.
all variations of that lead singer doing what he does. The oh, crap. What's the other group called? Uh, Stone
Oh,
Sour. There we
Stone
go.
Sour. Yep. Yep.
And it's really funny because I mess with my music people by saying, this guy really sounds a lot like the same, like the voice for like Slipknot. It's so weird. Like, it's like, how the real music snobs are just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Mhm.
Or like the whole drummer for Nirvana is like, hey, that guy kind of looks like the whole oh crap, what's that group name now? But yeah, I'm getting at.
Yep. Yep.
Just liking to mess with people. So that's I don't know if you know this or not, but that's kind of like what I do. Like I just mess with people for the most part.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It brings a little spice to life.
Right. Although it gotten me close to being banned on a couple of channels, I can tell you that much right now.
Uh-oh. Got a little too
Well,
spicy, did we?
I pushed it too far before they really got to know the real Trucker Matzy. So
Okay.
there's that.
Okay. Do you wanna share a little bit or
I would say there's about 5 to 10 different times where Tony Miff got this close to pushing that button. And he's like, 4B, come get your guy. Oh man. But I mean, we've kind of come to a better understanding of each other. Like, okay, so I think what happened was Corby's like, hey, come check out this guy. I've been, doing videos and whatever. And I kind of go into it like, hey, he's cool, so I'm gonna mess with him. He came into like, who's this new guy coming in here and chat and giving me crap?
Mhm. Mhm.
Which I mean, I kind of did that a little bit with you guys too.
Mhm.
Like it's just kind of like my deal a little bit. So whatever.
You know what? Me personally, I like it because I'm one of those kind of people that if you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna do what I can to give it right back, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah. And that's where don't get myself in trouble, but like if people come into my chat and start giving me crap, you know, it's fair play. You're like,
Mhm.
I've done it to you, and that's why you're back here doing this stuff with me. And I'm not really in a position where I can like, get all like whatever about it. Like, it really is like the game at this point.
You know what? At the end of the day, I love it. I love, seeing just that kind of banter, that kind of back and forth kind of thing. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, especially in like the modern times kind of thing. People tend to be a little bit more sensitive nowadays, but it's one of those like, you know what? You got to have a good, poke every once in a while.
Oh yeah, legit, legit. But however, I do have one exception to that like rule. If
Okay.
somebody comes into my chat, I've never seen them before, and I've never given them crap before. and they start coming after me, like, yeah, yeah. There's a difference between playful banter and then like clear like attacks.
Yep.
I'll I am one of the more like giving like creators. Like, there's people that are still active in my streams and stuff like that that would not have been given that ability in other people's chats because I feel like I give a little extra space for them to kind of like work through their whatever it is that they're going through that makes them want to just come in and just raise heck right away. And but no, I have banned a couple people though, surprisingly. But you done messed up if you get banned on my channel.
Well, and like you said, there's a huge difference between a gentle ribbing and coming in guns a blazing kind of thing.
Right.
And you can tell, you can absolutely tell. It's like, hey, like you're taking it a little bit too far. This isn't like playful. This is like actual kind of like malice involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just
And
go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, people know, like people in my chat know when that person has messed up because I will literally like go from game screen to me full face and like, listen, this person, you need to stop it right now, or you're not going to be able to be in here more. That kind of gist of it. But I'm like, okay, fun time's over. Matthew me's in business.
That's when the daddy voice comes out and is like,
Yeah.
listen here, you.
Right? Yeah, no
So
doubt.
we established some of the movies and music that you like and that you would consider some of your favorites. Now, let me ask you this. What are some of the oddest or weirdest movies or music that you've seen over the years?
I mean, music, I don't really consider really anything weird, honestly. Like, I, Weird Al is in my wheelhouse. So, you know, once you get past that, there's not a whole lot you can really, come across with. Um, Movies, y- call me weirdo. I know I'm going to get a little bit of flack for this, but I will refuse to watch Dumb and Dumber.
Really?
It's it really is the what I would consider too dumb to watch type of thing. Like, I saw parts of it. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I didn't, whatever. I just, seen different clips and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I like Super Troopers. That's hilarious.
Good movie.
Um, Dumb and Dumber's one. There's like the
Glittering and
B right, smoking the beep 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 beep. I almost got you, didn't I? Like Sharknado, like some of the really like just like off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they made like 5 of those. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I have no idea how
one
that's even one was a thing, let
one was
alone
bad
5.
enough.
Ugh.
And Tremor, like the first Tremors was cool,
Yep.
which actually that reminds me a lot of that new game, Dune that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, you're just doing this, and kind of deal. Which apparently there was a lot of like crossover between Dune and like Star Wars, like back in the day, because of the Scarlet monster or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that was
Mm-hmm.
in the sand, and there's a lot of like the same stuff. But yeah, I can get down with Tremors, but the other ones after that, the Tremors 2 and 3 and 4, I think it was just like,
Uh,
okay, come on.
Another series that went a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, yeah. But I kind of like the off movies and stuff like that. But there's just some that just like, like I said, Dumb and Dumber, which a lot of people think is like a classic and is awesome, and I'm just like, okay, weirdo. Which, let's be honest, if y'all watch my stuff, me calling somebody else a weirdo, that's like, really? How's that even work?
It's one of those, it's like you just need that little taglines, and that's when he knew he effed up.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, so.
So the reason I asked that question is that I've seen plenty of really weird and off the wall kind of movies, throughout my lifetime. And you mentioned Star Wars. One of the wildest movies I think I've ever seen in my entire life was actually a movie that was made for TV. And it was a Star Wars offshoot called the Star Wars Holiday Special. Are you familiar with it?
I want to say yes, but I don't
So
remember.
So the fact that you're even putting any hesitancy whatsoever tells me that you likely haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
because it's one of those, had you have seen it, there's no way that you'd forget about
I
it.
would have forgotten it. Yeah, okay.
So I'll put it to you this way: for about maybe 30-ish minutes, there's a conversation between Chewbacca and his wife in their native language. Yes.
Was
But
there at least captions?
no. No.
Oh, come on, man. You can't. You gotta have translations. Like, who's the translator for Chewbaccan or Wookiee? I mean,
Oh
you know,
man.
like, is there a Wookiee translator in the house?
Uh, you know what? If anybody out there knows Wookiee, go ahead, watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. Let us know what they're saying, because I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Tangia now has the TTS Chewbacca. So if he did enough, typing and got to repeat it, then he might kind of get a. Yeah, never mind. Whatever.
But
I
what's
tell you what, the Wookiee translator is probably they probably quit because they didn't get good enough health care, and there was no 401k. Let's be honest.
it's a little hard to cover a little fuzzball like that. They're hacking up hairballs all the time.
Right. Well, at least Star Trek, there actually is how to speak Klingon.
Yes. Yes, there is. Ooh, there's entire like
Which
languages like offshoot from Star Wars. That's just
right,
wild to
which
me.
is ridiculous, but obviously very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But what's wild about that movie, it was one of those made for TV movies. And what's wild about it is that it was star-studded. It had all the original cast, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill. I can't remember the Princess Leia, but she was in it. Um, and it had people
Carrie
like
Fisher.
B. Thank you. I had B. Arthur, from the Golden Girls. Like it
Oh,
had
jeez.
tons of just like star-studded people in it, but it was it was just hot garbage. Like it was the wildest experience I think I'd ever
Hey,
had in my entire life.
that's weird. Like, why would they sign up for unless it was like in their contract that they had to, right?
That's all I can think of, is that it was either just something for the money, or it was written
Yeah.
in their contract when they originally started.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like the line in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where I think it's Ben Affleck says, then there's the movie you have to do because your best friend says you owe you one. And then they both look at the camera.
mm-hmm. That's it exactly. That's it exactly. But I mean, and the worst part about it is that the makeup artist that obviously worked on the original Star Wars decided to just completely like run off the planet at that point. They're like, nope. And they couldn't find a single makeup artist because Mark Hamill and everybody else just looks awful. And even for those days where you could actually hide a lot of flaws and stuff like that because of the recording technology was so bad, or at least the presentation technology was so bad in those days. You know, makeup artists didn't have to do much in those days, but
Yeah.
it was just wow, absolutely atrocious. So
Hmm.
let me ask you this: if you could no longer do your modding or do your content creation for whatever reason, let's say your computer blew up or something like that, what is it that you would do beyond that?
Oh, jeez. Um, I can't say that on here.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
No, 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 no. More so. Something to do with lead poisoning.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, this is my deal, right? Like, I would find a way if my computer blew up. I would find a way to get a janky laptop again, and square one and figure things out.
I
But
gotcha.
like, I don't know. Like I can't imagine a life without doing this.
So
Like,
would you say this has kind of been like a dream of yours to kind of get involved in the YouTube space and the modding space, or is it just something that you feel like you kind of fell into?
oh, I definitely 100% fell into it. Um, because I guess we're going to do a little rewind to Trucker Matzy channel. 5.5 years ago, I didn't even know what farm sim on YouTube or any kind of content creation was, or that even existed, right? Like, I was just OTR. I had my PlayStation 4 with the TV in the back, just playing games. And first game was it was FS 15, and I'm like, hey, let's check this out, see what this is like, right? And then came across FS 17 like in a Walmart, where I'm like, oh, there's another one. Look at this, like within like a year's time, right? Um, and I'm like, this is kind of neat. And then I started like looking things up and like, wait, there's gonna be another game out. Like, so this was clearly like in the year 2000, like what, 19? I forget how that all worked, which years. But anyways, I'm like, hey, 19 was the first game I actually got excited like when I was about to come out. I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. We're gonna be able to like play farms against like multiple farms online and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Like, how's that gonna work out? That kind of thing. And anyway, so FS19 comes out. I get the game and I start playing. Like, well, what, what's, how do I do this or whatever? And I'm looking up on my phone because I've never had a computer before I started like the YouTube stuff. Like, legit. It was literally just console and my phone or whatever. I'm like, let me just type in like how to make the most money in farm sim. Like, I think it was 17 at a time, but then whatever. So funny enough, um, first channel I came across, you're not gonna guess this. Do you want to try?
Ooh. Well, I would immediately say some of the bigger ones, but you're saying that wouldn't be somebody I'd guess. So I'd say maybe somebody like I don't know, like you know what? There's so many people out there. Go ahead and tell us.
Silver News of all people.
I have never even heard of them.
Well, they no longer exist, but
That would be why.
uh no, they exist, but like they are not doing content at all. Something happened and then they got like they kind of got roasted for putting out like crappy like news that wasn't actually even news, you know?
Okay.
Like basically just whatever. So anyways, point being, it's funny because I I watched a few of his things and then like Go Ham started coming up to him and I was like, who the heck is this guy? He's like way out there for me. I don't know if I can, which now is really hilarious. Um,
Haven't we just spent this whole time saying how you're the one that's kind of out there? Like,
right,
isn't there like a saying
right.
like
Okay,
pots and kettles and stuff?
okay. Yes, but in my mind, it made sense, and I'm like, whatever. I just kept on watching, the other guy, and then his stuff kept on coming up, and I'm like, okay, what is this all about? Like, let's just watch. I'll give him a chance, which is hilarious. Now what everybody knows about me with him. Um, so then I started like, and then he started streaming and stuff, and I'm like, okay, now I get it. You know, um, but yeah, so like, still at this point, I'm like, didn't even cross my mind to even think about becoming a YouTuber, like, at all. Like, I'm just being entertained, playing the game, whatever. Well, I don't know if you know this, but there's this map that came out in FS19 called No Man's Land.
Mm-hmm. Very familiar with that one.
Nobody really cares about that map, right? No. Um,
Eh.
so I had previously become a member of GoHams, which was hilarious. And he was doing one of his members only like multiplayer stream deals. In this particular time, it was with PlayStation, and I was somehow stopped at this time for this particular because I was over the road. So I kind of knew it was coming up, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try and plan my day so I can actually join this deal because it'd be kind of fun. It was this random dude who laughs a lot, which is kind of funny. But anyways,
Again, something about a kettle, but go on.
right. Pot me, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, so get in there somehow, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in. I'm gonna start playing, and I'm talking, and nobody's hearing me. 'Cause well, okay, on the PlayStation 4 remotes and the headset, to be fair, it doesn't really tell you if you're muted or not. You're just supposed to remember which way is which on the little switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, like, okay, but then I was like, or starting to second guess myself. Well, wait a minute. Is it maybe if I do this way and like I say something or whatever, and ended up the first thing Goham heard out of me was my laugh. And
Okay.
he was like, "Wait, whose laugh is that?" And I'm like, mine. Is it too loud? Do I need to?" He's like, "No, keep it." He was like, "Bring it out." And anyways, so that's halfway through. I was the first one to find out that we could harvest the crop in underwater, like when we're doing that stream or whatever. And so, anyways, lo and behold, he's like, "You should really think about content creation." I'm like, what? Me? You gotta be crazy, right? Which he is. But so anyways, I figured out like, okay, a plan. Let me figure some stuffs out, and eventually got a laptop, and you know, thus birthed the Trucker Matzy. So yeah, and that was 5 years. 5 years ago, May 28th was the uh birth or the first video on the channel. So yeah.
Well, one of the things I can say is for my interviews and whatnot, I go on to the interviewees websites like your YouTube. I end up going on there just to kind of get familiar with the content, things that you've done and whatnot. And one of the things that I saw on your channel was, I believe it was a live stream, and it was you, and it seemed like a dozen other people. There was a bunch of people on there, and I think there was like Farmer Klein, DJ Goham, and whatnot. and y'all were racing monster trucks around this course. I have no idea what map this is
Yes.
on or anything like that.
No
And
man's land.
was it No Man's Land? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So y'all were just trucking around this map and you were just hysterically laughing. And the moment I was hearing the laugh, I was just beside myself in stitches. It's one of those kind of laughs that is infectious. And I think DJ recognized that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he literally calls it the best laugh in Farm Sim.
I could see that. I could
Yeah.
absolutely see that.
So, for
So
real.
let me ask you this. What do you think that you're not very good at that others would disagree with?
Uh, I'd say, well, I really don't think I'm good at making up storylines, but apparently people keep watching and think some of the stuff's cool. But I'd say that,
Okay.
or like the farm builds.
I gotcha.
It,
So, sorry, go ahead.
okay, so like people watch my farm builds a lot. Like they get one of my more better views, other than like the how to make money this way or that way. And I'm like, why do you guys watch this? I suck at this, you know? And I was, people that know me more personally, they're like, yeah, no, shut up. Just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm like, okay, sure, but I still don't feel comfortable with it. So that's why, like, I do farm builds, but you don't like. I should really, in theory, be doing a farm build every new map that comes out. Like that should be my map tour. Is me doing a farm build,
Okay.
but I don't.
So
Oh shoot!
you've established that you're a trucker in real life and whatnot. When you were doing the trucking prior to what you're doing currently, were you just like all over the country, going routes everywhere, or were you just kind of like on a pre-established route or something like that?
No, I was all over. I have been to 49 states.
Wow,
Yes,
that's impressive. So, would you consider yourself somebody who likes to travel, or are you just doing it because that was just part of the job?
it was part of the job. It was interesting to see the places. But at some point, I was just like, okay, I'm tired of living out of the truck. I want to be at an established place. And that's kind of why I stopped being over the road. Now, if that was my only choice at some point, yeah, sure, I would do it again. But it's definitely not something I want to do. So,
It's got to be a real hard life. I mean, yeah, some of the
oh,
modern
yeah.
rigs and stuff, they have a lot of the amenities and stuff that are kind of nice. The full sleeping rig and whatnot, but it's still like a really compact area and all that stuff. So it's got to be real tough.
Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed or not, but when you have explosive bathroom, running from your truck across the parking lot to get inside to relieve yourself is not the most advantageous thing to do.
No, no, I could see that one being a little bit inconvenient.
Yeah, like
Just,
you gotta be presentable, put your shoes on, and then you have to climb down big A stairs, the steps or whatever, get in his truck, and then, um, yeah, and then walk. Like the walking so far away is the worst part because by the time you feel the rumbling in your tumbly, like, it's already too late.
Well, and it's not like you're able to sit there and have like gourmet meals or anything like that on the road. It's oftentimes you're under deadlines. You got to get from point A to point B, within X amount of time. And if you don't, there's a penalty and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that was the same thing that you had to go through. My father also did cross country trucking, and he would be penalized if he was late. But yeah, it's basically you're in your cab or catching a quick bite to eat at a gas station as you're filling up your rig, all that type of stuff. Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun to me.
Well, and that's why I absolutely loved the e-logs. It
Okay.
forced you to take the 10 hours, and I was flatbed, so we were kinda like the hoity we were the Air Force of trucking.
Okay.
Because okay, so you only have so many hours that you can get loaded, like because most flatbed places are only open, like, 8 AM or 6 AM till, like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, they're getting you loaded that day in a timely hour, where, like, reefer guys, you could wait somewhere for, like, 24, 36 hours just to get a load.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's different where you can deliver, like, okay, like you said, a set time, but, like, a lot of times those set times are, like, 2, 3 in the morning or wherever, like, just really chaotic hours where with a flatbed, it was literally, like, Monday through Friday is what you're doing. So if you got your Friday load, you got yourself some time, and that's where I was able to schedule well, before YouTube, but, like, being able to, like, play with Goham, like, "Okay, I know I need to take so much break anyways. I'll just take this at this time and then, go about my business." Um, so that's why I say we were the Air Force of the trucking industry because we were able to kind of, like, have more of a consistent, like, deal,
I gotcha.
By the way, no offense to the Air Force, I'm just saying you guys have a rep.
uh, and you know what? Big shout out to all the men and women out there in our armed services. Thank you all so much for everything that you do. One thing that I've well established on this channel is my deep connection to the military. So yeah, big shout out to all of our men and women in the services. Thank you all. So you've been to 49 states. That's
Yes.
insane to me. Absolutely insane. Which state would you say is the favorite that you've been to?
Favorite state?
Minus your home
Um,
state.
right, minus my home state. Okay, so there's pluses and minuses to a lot of the states, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, so there's like, take California for instance. Obviously, you hear probably a lot of like negative about the state, but like, if I get on the five going north, like north, like through the whole state, I love me stopping at a town called Weed. I don't want to say the actual word, but it's
Okay.
called that in California. That is like one of the main like cool places I would like to go to when I'm over there. However, that's not my favorite state. I was just giving an example as far as that is concerned. Dadgummit, favorite. um, well, because you also have to throw in the factors of how truck friendly is that state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Florida, not ripping on your state all that much, but some of that, the inspection, like because of the fruit and stuff like that, that gets a little annoying. And then like they're not very truck friendly in the sense of like allowing you to like park in certain areas where other states will let you park in those same areas, type of thing.
Yep.
Um, I don't know, kind of like thinking, hmm, I want. Dadgummit, you got me on this one. Because there's Arkansas has some good stuff. You got Arizona, which is summertime is a bear. Um, Oregon, even though they have some weird tax trucking things as well, it's kind of nice views and stuff like that. Montana's Montana actually, that's a really good one. Um, I'll go with that one. I was just kind of randomly thinking this stuff through my head. Because there's a lot of places that you can park at, and then there's like walking distances to like other restaurants that are nicer or whatever. Um, and it's just nice. easy drive except in the wintertime.
Oh
Not
yeah,
saying that there were some sketchy moments on up a mountain in Montana once or twice, but I'm just saying.
I could
So,
imagine that it's a whole new level of fear factor when you're sitting there driving an 18 wheeler in the middle of a storm and going up and down any sort of gradient. No, no,
oh, you got jokes. I ain't
jokes.
driving that crap through the middle of a storm.
Oh,
I am parking that thing and I'm telling my dispatch, you need to push this out because it's not showing up on time.
you know what though? It sounds like you are a smarter man than most.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the number of times where I've seen like so I'm originally from Michigan and living
Mhm.
down here in Florida now, I'm constantly making trips back and forth up to Michigan and I prefer to drive. So I'm constantly
Oof.
driving back and forth. And about
That's a
20
drive.
yo, it's driving about 20 hours. Um
Uh-huh.
and I can't tell you the number of times I'll be going through the hills of Kentucky and Tennessee and whatnot, and I'll just see a truck, just off to the side, just completely, down the side of a cliff or something like that. As a matter of fact, the last time I was driving through Kentucky, uh, well, this one was more than likely due to a actual failure of the equipment itself, but they have those kind of runoffs. You know what I'm talking about? The
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little hill inclines that are off to the
Yep.
side. So if you got a runaway, you can kind of take that off. But yeah, it was during the winter time, and thankfully they didn't just turn that into a giant ski ramp. Ugh. But then you go
Well,
on to
see,
some of those other channels out there with the like dash cams and stuff, and you see all the
yeah.
like crazy stuff that people have recorded over the years. Ooh.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the whole thing with Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Oklahoma, like all that area is people think, "Oh, I'm not in the north. This isn't actually going to be that bad." And that's the mindset is like they're just going to keep on going and be fine because it's not really that icy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no. You're not being smart.
Well,
it
yeah.
it has ice over in Florida. So you can just stop with that thought process right now.
Oh, the first year I moved down here, the very first one, this is back in '04 or '06, somewhere in that ballpark.
It
And
was
yeah,
'06.
it might be. It might be. But it was it snowed. It actually snowed on Christmas.
Yeah,
It blew my mind. It's like,
right.
where's this coming from? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while since.
My friend, which I met him through the industry, our first year. Well, it could have been '04. I was thinking the wrong years because it was 2013, I think. No, 14. Yeah, because uh, end of 2013, beginning of 14 is when I started getting into the trucking, and he was still training with you know with somebody else's. So it was like that January of 14, I'd say. They were literally like they couldn't move on the off ramp on the 10 because it was iced over.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think they even got on like the local news or whatever because it's a big deal. So they had to talk about the story, and showed the truck was stopped there.
Mm.
Um. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah. That was the year that it iced up over on in Florida on I-10. So yeah.
Ah,
I
God.
was actually going through Tennessee at that time, which it had ice, but then it snowed. It was more predictable than it was for him down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
That's
still
yeah.
slowed a little bit, but it was fun.
I mean, you got to keep it interesting. Every once in a while, you got to have a little spice in life.
Right.
So let me ask you this: if money were no object, where would be your dream travel destination? Anywhere in the world, anywhere in the states, where would it be?
If money were no object. That's interesting. I think call me weirdo. I think I'd want to take one of those big long cruises down to Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
Hey, you know what? I could
I'm a
get on
big
board with that.
I'm a big science guy, and so it's one of those things where you want to kind of see like, okay, some of this ice might have been here for how long, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what time of year you get there. Like if it's summertime, then you get melted down. And you see this may be like the most exposed the ice or whatever could have been. So I don't know, kind of neat.
So you say that you're a science guy. Is there any science in particular that kind of intrigues you more than others, or just kind of a general?
Um, Honestly, more like a general. I sucked at chemistry in high school, but I still have an interest in what that stuff is. So like and part of it is I kind of would probably be akin to what they talk about on like Big Bang Theory, the show,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like the theoretical theory, the physicist or whatever, like the stuff that they talk about is kind of, I know they're not real scientists, but that genre, the uh theoretical, oh, crap, I can't even say the words, but I think a sit down with, even though this guy says some dumb things, I still think it would be interesting conversation just to sit down with DeGrasse Tyson.
I gotcha. Okay.
You can't agree with everybody, right?
Oh no. Well, and that's it. Is you don't have to agree with everything, but as long as you can find some commonality, then just kind of go from there.
Right.
So, what would you say inspires or motivates you?
To do what?
Just go at life.
That must make me think of the Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail bit. Um, anyways,
Good movie, by the way.
what? I don't know that. Anyways,
Oh, what is it? What's the land air speed of an unladen swallow?
yeah, airspeed velocity of a unladen. Yeah. What do you mean? African or European?
What? I don't know.
Right.
Oh my goodness. You know
Right.
what? I'm one of those kind of people that in the right circumstances, I could just sit there and talk for hours about movies. It's
Right. Well, and I got that weird A memory on like movies and stuff like that. Like if there's certain movies I could literally like quote beginning to end.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Deadpool and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective are the main ones,
Oh.
but there's a couple others too. But
Another really good movie.
right. Um, inspire. I don't know. I'm just a dude playing video games. I just want to make things better for people and have fun doing it. And if I can make somebody's day by creating something or whatever, like with the map, like I didn't think it was gonna be that popular. It's like it was just something I wanted to do, like made the map, wanted to share it with as many people as possible. That's why I put it towards Mod Hub because why not? Um, but no, if I can make anybody's day improve, that's kind. I guess that's kind of what drives me is just making it better, for somebody.
So when you when you created your channel, do you think that you kind of created it out of a sense of, you know, let me see what I can do, or was there kind of a more uh, generalized purpose that you were going for, i.e., just wanting to kind of be out there and entertain people, or something along those lines?
I would say more of a combination of that. Like, okay, they say for me to start doing this, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a hack doing stuff, and let me just, entertain people with it, right? Like, if you like, maybe not necessarily the first video I put out, but like the second and third and fourth video, like ever, like on old Ishia Farms, which I wish that map would come to 25. But anyways, now to be fair, I could technically put out a PC version of similar to that map, but don't actually call it that. Just like kind of have a little fun with it. Anyways, because you can just grab the terrain and kind of do whatever you want with it, and it's not going to be the same thing. You could, that's the thing about mapping. Like, you don't necessarily need to start out 100% from scratch. You can just grab a base map, not even a base game map, but just a map in general. Like, you kind of like this and this and this. Just kind of move some things around, do some other stuff, and boom, you got your own map.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that wasn't the case with Wasika County, but what was the question?
Oh,
I was just
uh,
going off on, a rant there, but
and you know what? I was listening to what you were saying, and I forgot where we started.
it's all good.
It's
But yeah, so I think it was something about in like why I started the YouTube stuff.
yeah, yep.
And oh yeah, just I was a hack just doing stupid crap. Like, I think one of the clips in my intro on my YouTube is still me literally doing seating on Stone Valley 4X at 200 miles an hour. With a DLC, by the way. The More Gold was a DLC in that year that particular game.
Okay.
But because we were still able to do the double tap deal.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now the tractor, on the other hand, that was very much that was definitely doctored up a little bit by me. So yeah,
You know what? Nothing wrong with that. At the end of the
I
day,
tell
is
you
you're
what,
if you're having fun, that's what matters.
I seeded that field pretty dang fast, and that was saying something for a 4X map on Stone Valley.
Oh yeah. Stone Valley, even just the normal version, is not a straightforward, easy map to do anything on. You know,
Right?
then then you double it. Yeah, no, that's just nuts. Absolutely
Not gonna
nuts.
lie, the other versions of Stone Valley outside the 4X, it just doesn't do it for me.
I could see that. I mean, me being a console player, you know, I unfortunately don't get the luxuries of being able to do the 4X maps and stuff like that, or getting the really cool mods and stuff like that. But
we
it's
we need to get you a computer, bro.
oh, one of these days, I've made the commitment that once my console kind of takes its forever sleep, um, gonna be doing the upgrade. It's one of those that I don't know if console gaming is going to be in my future.
I don't know if you saw that, but I was starting the chainsaw up to assist you in your console, giving it final
I mean,
final day.
we could just go ahead and do the whole Office Space approach.
Right?
Go out in the back and take it to the field and find the baseball bat.
Right? Yeah.
Oh
Watch
my
out for that
goodness.
recoil, though.
Oh, I've seen so many people do something stupid like that. They'll go out and like recreate the scene, and they go to
Yeah.
bang. It's like, oh, that's gonna leave a
Yeah.
mark.
Whenever I see somebody trying to take a bat to an older car, good luck.
Oh, You know what? I'm pretty sure I know exactly what video you're talking about too. It was like an old like old Cadillac or something like that, and just the guy
Yeah.
rears back and ka-ting, and just bops
Yeah.
himself right in the
There you
face.
go, dummy.
Oh,
Didn't think that one through, did you?
nope. Yeah, don't know if anybody knows this, but aluminum is quite springy.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
It makes a good little ting though. Oh my
Right?
goodness. So let me ask you this: what was your first job?
First job ever?
Mm-hmm.
I will honestly, I was an apprentice for a metallurgist. Basically, what he did, what he was actually a form of a scientist of some sort. Um, because basically, what he was kind of like a contractor for like big, huge companies. Essentially, like I don't remember what brands they were, but that doesn't matter. But basically, they made like these heaters and coils and stuff like that. And anytime something failed, like if, obviously you don't want something to fail and explode or whatever. He was basically to find out if it was the composition of the metal they used, like
Mm.
what caused it to fail, like what caused it to basically break under pressure. And so essentially what he did is took the different parts of that was a part of this thing, and he would literally cut them up and grind them down, and then like literally like take a microscopic picture of it and just to see like how many fractures or breaks within a certain area.
Oh wow.
And I just learned how to help with that. Um, so I got to play with a diamond like grinder and some other things. I learned like photography, like how to do that stuff before I ever took it in high school. So like whenever I did take it in high school, I was like basically just flew through the class because I knew everything already. um, and then just other odds and ends around the house. Like sometimes it was like yard work, just anytime just to help do whatever you wanted to get done. But mostly it was the science work and working on a computer, which that was kind of neat. Like that computer was pretty high powered for its time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is very much dwarfed compared to what I got over here.
I
But
mean, likely
remember
what
that
you
was
likely
I
it's dwarfed
was
by the what you got in your pocket there.
yeah, that too. Well, on my table, but yeah,
Oh.
I was still in high school at that point, so that was over 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was, we didn't even have cell phones at that point in time.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, okay, there were cell phones, but they were like car phones, big, huge things with a big, big antenna, and like you can even text with them. It's just like a phone call, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Back when it was the pound key and not a hashtag.
Right?
All
What's a
right.
rotary phone?
Oh my goodness. I saw a video a while back of these kids getting their hands on an old rotary phone, and they were sitting there like basically like a bunch of like monkeys at the zoo trying to like figure out how it worked. They were like pressing the buttons, not understanding it. You got to turn the dial. And they're
Right?
just sitting
They're
there
probably
just
they're probably like trying to push the button on it. I'm
yep.
like, that's not how that works.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? I'm certain that if, we were, rewinding in technology from when our parents were kids, and taking a look at something from their day, we probably have no idea how it worked either.
I mean, yes and no. Because I think somewhere between, I don't know how old you are, but somewhere between my age in high school and like high schoolers now, somewhere between, so the 25 years span, somewhere in that span, I think common sense just kind of lost it.
I'm 100% with you there. And I'm 42.
Now, okay. So you're only like 3 years younger than me. Um, Now, am I saying everybody in high school right now has no common sense? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I mean, because there's people in my class that didn't have any common sense either. However, that number I think has grown substantially.
Mhm.
Like it almost did like a flip flop. It was like 90% people had common sense when I was in school, but now like it's only 10% nowadays.
Common sense is not so common anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm. 100% agree with you. So, I've got one more question for you in this segment here, and oftentimes I find it that people who play farm sim oftentimes have a connection of some sort, whether it's, oh, I grew up on a farm, or I live in a rural area and I see a bunch of this kind of, equipment around all the time, so therefore there's some kind of connection to the world of farm sim and the game itself. Do you have a sense of connection outside of, oh, hey, this is fun? Or was there something in your past that kind of like made it easy to get into?
Oh, this is an easy answer or a question to answer. You know the map I put out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I grew up on the Start Farm.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, then there you go. That is one heck of a connection there. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And well, funny enough, my dad posted pictures on Facebook a day ago, 2 day, no, what day is it? Thursday, I think it was. Okay, so imagine Waseca County, the Start Farm at the end of the driveway. Imagine the water being so high in those ditches that it's going over the end of the driveway.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I can. I was literally just on Wasika just the other day because I was just going
Right.
through trying to find a map that I was like, you know what, let me see if I can, just start kind of a behind the scenes kind of play at my own leisure kind of thing. And I downloaded it and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna kind of play around on this just to kind of, get my bearings again. And yeah, I
There's
know
the
exactly what you're talking about because it's like fresh in my mind.
I just sent you a picture. You can show that if you want to, but I don't know if you're able to or not. But that is the
Oh
one of the
wow.
pictures he posted. So that's the small field right there
Okay. Yep.
as you're
Yep.
looking towards the road from the Start Farm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that water's a little high right there.
Yeah, they got a wee bit of rain. All right, so that is the end of our first segment here. I want to give a huge shout out to Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for gathering all the questions throughout this course of this interview. You are an absolute superstar. Thank you so very, very much. Starting out with our first question here from the audience, we got Noah's Farm Gaming. Noah, thank you so much for your question. Says, how long did it take to get the subscribers that you have?
um, well, right now I'm at what 4620, I think it was. Um, and the channel has been like just over 5 years, so kind of just under 1,000 a year, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
give or take. But averaging out, that's what it kind of works out to be. So yeah.
Again, Noah, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got one from Ken Adlam. Ken, thank you for your question. Says, Trucker Mancy, what's your favorite mod? And you use them in game. And have you used them in
Um.
game?
Um. Am I allowed to be biased here?
Of course, of course. You be whatever you want.
Because I mean, a map is a mod, right?
100%.
I'm gonna have to say Waseca County. Honestly, like it's my baby. I grew up there. Like that it's a special connection. That's why like a I did the fences that you couldn't remove them. So you gotta at least keep some semblance of the map. um, and it's just a special connections with it. Like I will probably be on that map through the end of Farm Sim 25, however long it lasts. Um, but yeah.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this. I spoke to a map maker a while ago. His name was Silver Eagle, or is Silver Eagle. Was a part of the Shanty Boys crew,
Oh right,
and this was back in FS22 days, and he created a map for FS22, and the name slips my mind off the top, but he had told me that the amount of time that he took, from beginning to end when it came to actually the creation of his map was over a year. Took him from start to finish, and that
oof,
includes all the updates and all that stuff. Because just like a lot of us, he's not a full time creator or anything like that. He's got a day job
right.
and family and all that stuff. So obviously things are going to take time. How long did it take you from start to where we are now, to get Wasika up and running?
So like including like the update and stuff like that. Is that what you're
Well,
getting at, or like
let's start with just from start to its original release. How long was that process for
okay?
you?
So I kind of started working on it like very towards the end of FS22. So like the last month or so. So I would say 5, 6 months. Because again, like I submitted the original version that essentially got released on Mod Hub that was basically submitted in like April. So like 4 or 5, 5 months or whatever. Now the update, like I honestly once the original release happened, I definitely took a break from mapping for a minute. Other than like, okay, there's a couple things here, a couple things there, and then I wanted to add Schultz's ethanol plant and mess with a few different things there. Um, but that was only like maybe a week's worth of work on that. So was that the question?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So you said it took you, several months in order to get
Yeah,
it like up and running and in
yeah,
its not its current form, but to the mod hub.
yeah. Well, and to be fair, that was my first map start from scratch, essentially. Like, I did 2 conversions in 22, like, from 19 to 22. I learned a lot about mapping then, but, like, this was, like, from scratch or whatever, like, my first real, like, map ever, like, in that sense, so
So what were some of the things that you learned in the process of making this map that if you were to, let's say, make a new one, that you'd be able to say, okay, I can avoid this. This was a pitfall. This is something I want to steer away from, or this is something I want to incorporate into like something else. Is there anything that kind of sticks out to you?
well, yes. Basically, the startup of the map. Like, because I used I think it was a template from Farmer Bob, or I can't remember if it was that or if it was. Well, see, okay, so the part that made this one a little bit hard because I already done some, elevation work and painting work in 22, and I didn't want to have to redo that, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of the struggle. But now, like, if I was going to do a whole new map, let's say I'm going for Mod Hub, whole new map, whatever, I would just take a copy of Wisika County and just break that down because I already has all the stuff in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it would just be that much easier. Like it's really easy just to hit delete on all the stuff I added to the map and just start over.
I gotcha.
But like have the base canvas there with all the stuff that I don't have to like do again. So
I gotcha. I gotcha. Let's see. Ken, again, thank you so much for your question. I greatly appreciate it. We got one here from Mr. Maddie. Says, where does he live? Well, we're not going to actually answer that question, but if you want to throw out the state, That'll be up
Oh,
to you.
everybody knows where I live, or I guess where I grew up. But you know, the map I made, bro.
Hmm. Check out Waseca County over there on the Mod Hub. It's a good map.
Yeah.
Mr. Maddie, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got another one here from Lisa. Thank you so much for your question. Says, would you like to see fishing or hunting put in the game?
Oh, yes. We know it's not going to happen because of the rating. But if I had to pick one, I think the ability to actually like pew pew those deer would be kind of fun. Um,
Yes.
I think I'm not sure which one would be harder to implement, honestly. Like, I'm sure some modder could figure it out, but you know.
From what I understand, DJ has a very large disdain for the birds. I could see him kind of running around and going after them rather than the deer.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Uh-oh. I triggered something. Again, Lisa, thank you so much for your question. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, now I'm kind of like, oh, what's he coming back with?
Get out of here, birds.
Get out of here, birds. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay. Lisa, thank you so much for your question. We got another one from Noah Farms Gaming. Noah says, what is his accent from? So again, it's refer you back to the map that you
Well,
created.
okay. I grew up in Minnesota. I do not sound like, oh, up in here, Minnesota, with that stupid accent. No.
Don't you know?
So that is not me. I'm not from, like, okay, so I lived in Minnesota until 2004. Moved to Chicago for a year. Then lived in Indiana for 10. Came back to Minnesota a couple years, then went down to Arkansas, and then back here in the last like 2 years. So I don't really have a from accent. It really picked up a lot of stuff along the way. So, like, I'll say y'all, like, the Southerners, and, just different stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know.
See
It's
where
not, so it really isn't a from. It just there.
mm-hmm. One of those where where I'm from, we call it a mutt accent. Just
Right.
kind of a little bit
Yeah.
of here, a little bit of there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, Noah, thank you so much for your question. We got one from Davies Farming. Davies, thank you so much for your question. Says, what made you make farming simulator maps?
I like to create things, I guess. And, like nobody was gonna do whatever. And I thought, the area I grew up out like a good area to make a map. And apparently it was, because the map's been a hit. So,
Mm-hmm. And I can see
but
why.
I definitely have other plans. Like I have about 4 or 5 different ideas for maps in my head.
Ooh.
So,
You heard it here first. Hopefully.
well, there's been some people that I've told that to, but so like here's time scale right now. So right now we are working on getting sweet corn into Waseca County
Ooh.
with an oxbow harvester that actually is actually going to be the earlage like the ear corn.
Oh, like the whole
So
knob.
yeah, yeah, the
Oh.
whole cob.
Yeah.
And it's basically the harvester's gonna act kind of like the forage harvesters where the pipe kind of follows the trailer. So essentially, you can either pull. You're either gonna be able to pull it behind the harvester, or you're gonna have a worker going or whatever, and you can go beside it, and it'll like follow wherever that trailer goes. Obviously, right now we're still in the beginning stages where you got the model kind of set now for the harvester. Um, we just need in-game it, and then we can start working on the crop textures and stuff like that, and that will be the final update on Wasika County. And then I think the next deal is going to be enlarging Wasika County map. Obviously, going to be PC only, that kind of thing. Sorry.
Single tier.
But right, right. Well, okay, so the only thing that's going to be different between the mod hub version and this is just going to be more area.
Okay.
You're just going to lose like the views and stuff like that, cuz I think I hope Gallo is not watching this, but I think we're going to use the blueprint of a 16x map,
Wow.
but it's not going to be a full 16x. It's going to be the map surface area is going to be about a 9x. So basically think of Wasika County in the middle, and you're gonna have 3 on top, 3 in the bottom, and 1 on each side. Like that's gonna be the surface area of the map. But
That
then
sounds
the
ridiculous.
the
I love
excess,
it.
the excess out the edge of outside of that area is still gonna be like model and stuff like that. So it's gonna like be a smooth, full transition from like the border on out. So like it's gonna be completely the same surface area, and a lot of people are complaining about that in the mod hub version of the map, because the outside area doesn't match the inside area, which I
Mhm,
haven't
mhm.
quite learned that part yet. But doing this way for this, a it's a little bit larger than 4x, but is by no means like, okay. So basically, if I were to make, because that's what Gallo really wanted me to do, was a 16x version of Wasika County. And I told them basically, because that's basically 16 standard maps
Mhm.
in one. And if I did the amount of detail that I did in Wasika County for every one of those 16 maps, essentially, it would be like 5 years from now before it came out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that.
So doing an extra 8 isn't going to be as big a deal. Now, I'm probably not going to do the same amount of time of detail on those, because a a lot of the stuff was a learning process for me, and B, we have more scripts for GE that's going to make it easier. Like all the power lines I place individually in Wasika County. Now there's a script where you can literally like place them like fences,
Oh, nice.
like in game, like how you like would do that. So
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, and then other things. Like, I'm not gonna. I probably would do the normal fence outside of that area where you can delete the fences. That might trigger a couple console players. I'm just saying. Anyways,
I
so
mean
after so after that, after I complete that, then we'll look at another mod hub map.
nice.
Most likely, like northern Minnesota. I mean, more forestry, mountainy. Like, I'll have some waterfalls, some different
Ooh.
ideas with that. So now, one of the map options is, not gonna lie, I want to take the template from Ishia Farms, and it'll be actually be more converted into like a Western California map.
Okay.
Basically, like the beach of California, and like the lowland area is gonna be more like the where they grow all the fun stuff, and like up higher, the it's gonna be more sandy looking. for the desert of California, that kind of stuff. So that'd be interesting.
No, absolutely. That sounds like something that'd be pretty cool.
So yeah, but yeah, no,
Nice.
I've learned a lot of stuff. So
Well, and that's what's really cool about doing the modding, map making, stuff like that, is that as you're doing, you're learning. As you're learning, you're able to then apply that stuff to your later and later projects, and you just get better and better as you continue.
right,
So,
so
Farm Edible, thank you so much for your I think that's £3 super sticker. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Going back to the questions here, Davies, thank you so much for your question. We got another one from Ken. Says, have you collaborated on any recent maps or being released soon? So kind of went over that in detail actually. So you can see into the future, can't you? Let's see. Ken, thank you so much for your question there. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. We got some more here. We got one from PA Plowboy. PA, thank you so much for your question. Says, do you miss streaming from the sleeper on the road?
oh God, no. Not one bit. Thanks, Jason. He's a regular contributor to my streams. So
Let's see. We got another one from Gold Gaming. Says, which Deadpool is your fave?
y'all are gonna laugh or be like, what the heck is this? I've never heard of this one. Once Upon a Deadpool.
I've. Why do I know that one?
It has Fred Savage in it, and basically they start in the bedroom scene from the Princess Bride.
Oh no.
Are we gonna have to do a watch party on Discord sometime?
We're gonna have to do something apparently.
Because I have that on my Amazon Prime or Amazon. I bought it, which
Okay.
you can't find it now.
Wow.
At least I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if you can find it, but yeah, I still own it, and so it's not going anywhere. But yeah, so it's funny for people to see it the first time. I love watching it with other people because of the interaction between Deadpool and Fred Savage during the whole thing is hilarious. And
I
well,
could
because
see that.
one of the lines is not really giving away a whole lot, but this is just kind of what, like one of the funny one-liners deal. And Fred Savage is like, I don't need you. And then Deadpool says, you do need me to untie you once we're done.
Oh no. Wow. It sounds about right. Wow.
Not saying he was involuntarily there or not, but you can probably kind of gather from that information.
You can make inferences.
Yeah.
Again, Gold, thank you so much for your question. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see. We got one from Bubba. Bubba like one says, Matsy, here's a question. What's your favorite part or least favorite part of making the best map in Farm Sim?
Favorite part was when it really felt like it was coming together like the real like map location. Now, least favorite part was coming across something that I could not fix and could not for the life of me figure out why. Like it was okay, so the original version that went out, there was a warning for scaled trees. And I'm like, but I didn't scale any trees. And I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. And basically to the point where I was getting so frustrated with it, I literally like messaged Mr. Marcel like, "Bro, how do I fix this? What am I doing wrong? Like I can't figure it out." And He's like, send me the GE. I'm like, okay, or the i3D. I'm like, okay. Then like literally like 2 minutes later, he sends it back fixed. I'm like, what the f did you do? He's like, oh, I just searched the thing and pulled up and just got rid of the scaled like whatever attribute on there, and there you go. I'm like, it's that easy? Hey, come. So, but okay, so that was very frustrating because it was like a thing that was bugging me, and somehow, like I said, it passed the first time with that. But then when I did the update, they're like, "Hey, you need to do this." I'm like, um, huh? So like, it was a big ordeal. Like that was that's the pain in the butt stuff about like modding in general, let alone mapping, is coming across warnings and or errors and you have no idea how to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you run stuff through test runner, a lot of times it'll say do this or do that, right? Like here's how to fix it. But then there's those certain things that pop up and you just have no idea how to fix it. And it's just like very frustrating. That's when you like, help, help, I need help.
You send up the white flag. It's like, please,
Help on
anybody.
aisle 7, please. Then you just start making louder and louder and louder until somebody comes along because they're just so sick and tired of hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bubba, again, thank you so much for your question. We got another one from PA Plowboy. Says, oh, another question. When are you getting another grill assembly live stream?
okay, okay.
I feel like there's a story to tell.
There is a story to tell. Okay, so this was at my first apartment after me and the second wife separated. And I bought a grill and I just, whatever, right? I'm like, hey, let's do I think that was a member stream because there's no way I did that publicly. Literally just assembling this square grill. And yeah, literally just, and they were like, it ended up being like some kind of cooking stream and it's just, yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah. Thanks, Jason.
So, looking at the time, it is a quarter after 11 my time. Normally, I let these go for about 2 hours, which we're going to be approaching here in about 15 minutes. Um,
Mhm.
if you are still willing to continue, we can beyond that because we still haven't even gotten into the second section of the show. I'll leave it completely up to you.
I did not plan anything for after tonight, like after like for us. So you have me till whenever you want to like get rid of me.
You got it. All right, looks like we got three more questions from the audience, and then we'll move on to segment number two. So, next one is from Samuel Wilkinson Jr. Samuel, thank you so much for your question. Says, uh, let's see, are you into the NFL or NCAA, and if so, which teams?
Yes. And pretty much Minnesota through and through. Vikings and Gophers. Speaking of, you're are you okay? So I see all the Detroit gear you got on there. I got the shirt and the hat, and I had to grab my twins hat because it's the only thing I have available that fits. And I got rid of the knob. I pulled I cut that knob off so
Mm-hmm.
that I can wear the headset and it's not gonna dig in my head skull. Um, just kind of messing with you a little bit there. But because I have other hats that I could have worn, but this is like it's so
That's the
old. You
one.
see the
Oh,
things like
yeah.
fraying off. Like that's how old this thing is. I had this since, oh shoot, how long have I had this hat for? Very long time. Like legit. I think it may have been like before the first wife, which that's saying something. So that's back in '04. Anyways, I digress. So, are you full through and through Michigan fan on all your sports stuffs?
Really, the only thing that I tend to follow is hockey. That's really like my passion sport is
Oh,
hockey.
the good
So,
old stick puck.
oh yeah.
Well, being from Minnesota, we have that here too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the point. The Gophers have done very well on the recruiting for the 26 class, like to the point where we got a 4-star quarterback who was final two options for us and Bama.
Oh wow.
So if you beat out one of those big schools, granted the kid is from Minnesota, but that's besides the point. Like
It
if
definitely
you're
helps.
able, you know, if you're able to keep your kids in state, like that's the number one goal of all college coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep your top talent inside your state. And we have like 3 4-star recruits that we've been keeping. So it's kind of cool.
So what you're
Anyways, yeah.
saying is the Gophers are going to be doing some moving here over the
Yeah,
next few
maybe not
years.
this year, but yeah, next few years, it's like, basically, even though I said I don't ever watch this movie, but, there's a line there. So you're telling me there's a chance. Yes! So,
Oh,
well, there's a
good
GIF or
reference.
memes for all that everywhere. So that's not that hard to.
100%. Yep. Samuel, again, thank you so much for your question. We got one from Jaked Up. It says, Matsy, would you be able to help me with power lines on my map, or at least talk me through it?
Oof. Yes, but not the way I did them. There's a script somewhere, and then that would make it that much easier. Like I said, you could put them down like you could do fences. So
Awesome. Let's see. And the last question I have right now for this segment is from Dirty Nelson. Dirty, thank you so much for your question. It says, any thoughts on bringing in more farming options such as sod or peanuts?
sweet corn.
Sweet corn. or sweet corn.
Right.
uh, Dirty, thank you so much for your question. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, that's the last one I've got here in this segment. Now it's time to move on to segment number 2. We call this one Meat and Potatoes, emphasis on potatoes. This is where we're going to get to know you for more of your creations here in Farm Sim, both for your YouTube channel as well as your mods and maps. So let's go ahead and get this segment started. So, do you only produce FS content or do you do any sort of other content?
I do play Ark Survival Evolved. I would like to do stuff on Ascended, but because I am sponsored with G Portal, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, but I cannot use servers by another company, and Ascended is exclusive to another company. So
I gotcha. Okay.
and then there is, it's kind of general knowledge that Giants is putting out another game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
So,
really made by them; they're just distributing it, and that is something that I am looking forward to using as well. Now that one, probably the majority of the content I'll be using that game for will be on my alternate YouTube channel, which I didn't give you the link for, but it's not important because I haven't really done much on it. But if people want to look it up, they can just look up Matzy Gaming. Again, I don't think there's even a video on it yet, but that will be I'll be shifting the PMR like content to that channel. I'll still do like initial stuff on the this channel or the my main YouTube account, but kind of want to keep those two separate because then YouTube doesn't get confused.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Doesn't take much.
Yeah. So
So we established that you started playing back on FS15, was it?
Yes.
So you'd mentioned the one map that was one that you would love to bring into the modern FS25. What would you say was one of your least favorite maps from FS15?
Wasn't there only one?
Was there? I started in FS19, so I'm not
I
familiar.
think FS15 was, well, maybe there was 2 options. I wish J-Trick wasn't here, he could tell me because he knows more of the history of Farm Sim than I do, but, I think it was just Whispers Hills that was a part of 15. I could be wrong. People in the chat can more than welcome, correct me if they want to, but, maybe it was like a Russian map also on that one, which I guess that would be the worst map because I didn't ever play on it. I only remember Whispers Hills, so yeah.
Okay, so let's expand this question out then. What is your least favorite map that you've come across in any version that you've played?
In any
And
version
and
of Farm Sim.
and before I have you answer that, this is not a question to say, oh, it's my least favorite because it's bad. It could just be the least favorite because it's the one I came across and just didn't take hold, kind of thing.
Right. Um, there was a really bad map towards the end of 19. Um, I ca- I think I did put a video or two out on it, but it was probably the jankiest map I had ever came across, and it was on Mod Hub.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like it was so bad, and I think that's really one of the things that really inspired me to like, hey, let me see if I can't do a map or fix maps or Initially, it was like let me fix maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it was super janky, and it only took up like a quarter of the regular map size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the one map that I always go to in this question is a map I believe is from FS22 called Southern Cross Station. And it's not that the map was bad. It was actually an amazing map.
Hmm.
But the problem is that only got one release. It was only ever released on ModHub. And if you went to any of the kind of sell points, they were all custom made. It was gorgeous. Um, but if you went to them, the I forget what it's called, but it's like the vectoring, I think is what it's called, or it would just like the whole buildings would just disappear. Like if you would stand at a certain
Oh,
area, just completely gone.
yeah. So kind of like you were too far away from it, but it was right in front of you.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And it like I said, it only got released to the mod hub. No changes were made afterwards. And it was an Australian map,
Mm,
so we
okay.
didn't get too many of those. So it was such a cool map, and it was more the disappointment of it not getting the love that I felt that it deserved. And yeah, it was just kind of abandoned. So that's always the one that I use as an example for my least favorite, is because it could have been so good. So, what was one thing that you never expected when you started creating content? And some of the examples that I give are the sense of community, any unexpected backlash, whatever the case may be. What's one thing that you just never really thought would happen?
I never expected I'd have more than 100 people subscribe to my channel. I was just a hack doing things and like, why are you guys watching this? This is junk. Like, literally, that's my thought process. Like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep on going, and people are still watching, so I'm just keep on, doing my thing and all that fun stuff. So that was really the most, yeah. I guess another thing is like, okay, so this computer, I've replaced GPU, CPU, RAM, power supply, basically everything except for the motherboard.
Okay.
90% of that was paid for by uh viewers.
Oh, wow.
And that's another thing that I was just like blown away by. Like, okay, so the GPU, I wasn't gonna get this one. It's a 4090. I'm not trying to brag, it's just what it is. Um I originally was looking at like a 40, like 70 or whatever. Like I have this. I'll be getting paid this much. I just need like $200-300. To I'm like, hey guys, can you help me out because my current GPU is junk. As you can see, I'm only getting like 20 frames per second on a map. You shouldn't be getting like way more. That kind of stuff. And yeah, my chat's like, no, you're getting this one. and they supplied the money. I'm just like, why? Like, I don't remember. I don't think I broke down and cried that one, but it was pretty close. So there's that.
It's definitely overwhelming at times. Through my experiences, I ended up doing a stream with Rusty Money Gaming, and I don't want to call it a charity because it wasn't a charity stream or anything like that, but we were trying to raise money for a fellow YouTuber to be able to purchase a console for them.
Well, it's
They
still a charity.
Yeah, but
It's just not a charity.
yeah,
It's not like for cancer. Some of the things are way more important than us playing video games.
exactly. But we wanted this fellow YouTuber to be able to come into the world of FS25, and because they had the previous gen console, they weren't able to at the
Mhm.
time.
Right.
Um, and it was one of those where we ended up raising like way more than what we were even expecting, let alone asking for. And it was like
Hmm.
to a point to where we actually had to like, okay, we got to stop. Like we're getting way too much, kind of
No,
thing.
give him a computer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but it was just one of those. It was completely overwhelming. The generosity of
Yeah.
the people out there is like you said. It almost brings a tear to your eye. Like it was nuts, absolutely
Yeah.
nuts. So at this point in time, how many mods do you currently have officially released on the Mod Hub?
2.
So one of them's the Wasika County. What's the other one?
Yes. It is the American pig feed mill.
Okay. And that's also on Wasika, correct? That's the
Y- yes and no.
Oh, that's right,
The
because you made an
model
update
and
recently.
it's yeah, on the update on Wasika County, there is another recipe which includes um the the soy meal from the ethanol plant, which I don't really feel comfortable making my mod dependent upon another mod outside of a map. So that's why I just left it as a base, just regular recipe pig female for the mod. Like not on the map. On the map I can do more stuff with like involving other things, right? But
Hmm.
like standalone mod, I don't want it to have a required mod, which no matter which way you did it, unless I put is ethanol plant into my Pigfield mod, it would be a dependent mod. Like, and that's one of the things that really aggravated me about a lot of mods, especially now in 22 and then 25, where like some of the stuff really want to pertain to like console players, but like the Maze Plus that requires certain mods, like that's just not my thing. Like, is either works standalone or it doesn't. Like, that's just how I am.
Gotcha. And I hate to do this. Can you give me just 1 second? My dog is whining outside the door, and she's gonna wake up my kids. So I'm
Oh,
sorry,
you're
everybody.
good.
Give me just
You
one
do you.
second. Oh my goodness. My wife is supposed to let her in the office before she goes to bed. She obviously just went to bed.
Oh, right. That's funny.
Oh goodness. So you mentioned before how you kind of make little tweaks here and there for certain mods and whatnot. What would you say is some of the more common tweaks that you make for a mod or for a set of mods?
Typically, it is grabbing base game productions and speeding up their capabilities
Do you
because
sorry, go ahead.
oh, I just saying because the base game stuff is just it's like it's not realistic for a month's time.
Mhm.
Just saying, like even the small productions, like they're making more than one pallet of wood in a month. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so do you still try and keep it within a realm of reality, or do you just like, you know what?
Yes.
Let's go full bore here.
Yeah, no, I like and those all those small productions are built into Wasika County
Mm-hmm.
and will likely be built in any future map as well. It's just the small productions plus I also made the concrete um one where you take put the stones and get the concrete bags and stuff like that. I made that as a small production as well. Um But yeah, no, they produce about I don't know 10 to 15 pallets a month versus the one pallet a month, and so that's pretty much the max I do on that kind of thing. So I just people want to say, well, you gotta play realistic. Like, bro, I am playing realistic. Giants isn't playing realistic, and that's kind of my thought process on that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, and that makes complete sense because you're right. I mean, you'd be able to get more than one pallet of anything out of any if a company out there only made one product like per month, unless that
right,
thing was like the most rarest of things to make and you're the only company out there, that company ain't going to be a company for long.
right.
So yeah, no, that makes
Like
total sense to me.
nobody's making money off of $2,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on.
Now, one of the things that really stood out to me on your map was the pig barns that were, if I remember
Yes.
correctly, right there in the dead center of the map. If I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, those were dependent mods. Am I correct or?
They are Schultz's original pig confinement mods, but it is built into the map.
Mm-hmm.
I got permissions from Schultz, so it is in the map, so you don't have to have that mod separate. However, if you like those barns and you want to use it on their map, you gotta download this mods. Like that's kind of like the give and take with the stuff that I've done with Schultz's stuff is he gets the benefit of his stuff being put out there on my map. But if you want to play it on something else, you have to download it. So he still gets the downloads, in my opinion, just not the ones for my map.
Mm-hmm. So if you had the ability to change any one thing, let's say the programming wasn't an issue or anything like that. If there was anything that you would want to kind of tighten up on your map, is there something out there, or is it just you're completely satisfied where it's at right now? You're just wanting to kind of build it up from here.
Other than the planned update, which we've already talked about with the sweet corn and stuff like that, I really, really, really want to get the outside of the map to match the inside of the map. Like that's the thing that, and I know it's out there. I just have to learn it. It just I didn't have like I wanted to get the map out, so that it be like okay, so now Giants isn't put a prior. They aren't putting a priority on maps getting out, like because they have a certain amount of maps out now. They're like, okay, they have more options to play with, right? And for one, I wanted to be the first map out, which obviously didn't happen because somebody cheated. Okay, okay. They didn't actually cheat. Let's be clear, they didn't actually cheat. Ola Holdar with the New Frontier map, he just used some programs that aren't free. He
Okay.
paid for the programs and stuff like that, and they were able to write all the stuff they wanted to do before Giant Zetter even came out. And so that's how he was able to get that map out so quick. Um, but I was really, really trying hard to be like one of the first original maps for 25 to come out. And it kind of was other than New Frontier, what as far as American style maps will go with that.
Mm-hmm. No,
So,
and it's highly impressive that you were able to get it out in the speed in which you did. It's one of those where, like you mentioned earlier, you work a full time job. This isn't your full time gig, so the fact that you were able to get it out in only a few short months of us having the game, on our consoles, computers, everything like that, speaks a lot. So you obviously put in the legwork. Um, Going back to what you were saying about the kind of outer periphery of the map there, I know me personally, that's something that I greatly appreciate as a uh, consumer of maps and stuff like that, is when that kind of outer periphery does match up. But I completely understand what you're saying though in regards to like, let's just get the map out there. It doesn't necessarily have to match at this point in time, but I love the fact that you're like, okay, this is something I would like to see, in the future, and something that you're going to be, putting some effort into.
yeah.
So that's really cool. So let's see. Do you have any other mods that are yet to be sent to Giants, or is it just kind of waiting for?
Um, there is one thing I've been kind of working on, but that's been kind of like set aside to kind of focus on getting the Sweet Corn Harvester like game ready, good to go, so we can start working on the crops. It is, and it's more of a conversion from a DLC in 22. It is the Westfield um auger, like the one that's not as big as like the base game auger in 25, but it's bigger than the small one. Like it's kind of a happy medium.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's from the crap. It's the free DLC. You know about the I forget what it's called, but
Oh, the oh my goodness, I know exactly which one you're
right,
talking about. They had like
yeah,
the
that,
storm and um
yeah, and the extra silos and
yeah.
all that fun stuff.
Oh, now that's just
So
gonna bother me.
it's fine. It basically, so it's like a medium sized auger that can fit more uh of flat bottom bins, and it will be very much color selectable.
Okay.
So like obviously getting it like okay, so Giants kind of released that to the public, like the 22 of that, the really can't remember what it's called, but anyways, the whole the whole crap, that's really me too, but anyways,
AGI.
yeah, AGI pack, there we go. So they released that on their modding site page, whatever, like where you get GE and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um but as a modder, you have to like kind of break it down and reinstitute, because there's a few changes between 22 and 25 as far as modding is concerned. Like completely redid the substance of vehicles and just different things, that a whole lot of jargon that's going to be kind of boring for a lot of people. But essentially, we just have to do things a little bit more difficult way. It's not just like an easy conversion. So,
I gotcha.
but yeah, it's kind of sitting on the back burner at this point. Mostly because my teacher is really busy in the summertime.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
I don't know vehicles.
So if knowledge wasn't an issue. Like you had all the prerequisite, coding and implementation and all that stuff that you could do. What's the one mod out there that you would be like, that's the one I want to be able to tackle and bring into for all platforms?
Oh my. There's so many.
There's tons.
Oh, honestly, now I know we have the realistic weather mod for PC, but I really, really like, and this is it's like it definitely would be a script mod that I would hope that Giants would just implement base game, but essentially bring back the weather system the way it was, where if you just cut grass, it would turn to hay after like being out for so long.
The
That
seasons
deal.
mod.
And and this is gonna really like if this were to happen, this would aggravate a lot of like regular gamers because they're just like, why? I don't want this. But they could probably turn it on or off if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, they brought in the whole like compaction stuff, like in your when you're in the fields, like okay, the tracks don't compact, but like certain tires do, and it really I would want the compaction to be a factor in yield. So like if you look on the precision farming map, like the yield, I think it should be affected if you're using like tractors that don't have the tracks that make it more compact, and the tired areas would be less yielding. Like
Yeah, that'd actually be a really cool implementation to do.
right. So
Like
yeah,
because
that was actually something me and 4B were talking about this morning. Like, bro, this would be so cool. And he's like, yeah, but it would really, really aggravate the base type gamer,
yeah.
right? Like the normal person, not the person that wants the realistic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So,
so,
what style of gaming do you tend to do? Do you tend to do kind of more off the wall kind of gaming, or do you do more realistic style?
yes.
Little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So right now on Twitch on Sunday nights or Sunday evenings, whatever, it's either 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. depends on what everybody's schedule is. We are doing this um Wasika County Challenge 100,000 or $100 million challenge. There's 6 of us on the same map. We all have different farms, and basically the first person to get to 100 million wins. But that's 100 million in bank. That's not including properties or vehicles or nothing. It's literally just cash on hand
Okay.
with no loan. Which at that point, if you have $99 million, why do you have a loan, right? Like, what is wrong with you? So, okay, so my preference of that is okay, so we have a version of the Colossus that has only realistic, like the base capacities. It doesn't have the extra million, it doesn't have any of that. And it also does not have the wire working with. It's literally just the width of the actual implements. And a lot of people are like, well, why would you even have it in there? Because peas, sugar beets, potatoes, carrots, parsnips, red beet, anything, spinach, green beans. Like all those things, the capacities are like 3 to 5 to maybe 10,000 liters. The
Yep.
Colossus base is 45,000 liters, and the working width is manageable.
Yep.
Now, that being said, we have real speed limit that allows us to do the work as fast as possible as long as the horsepower allows it.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by mix. Like, I like to, okay, sure, we're doing things a little faster, but that's just kind of to keep the pace going so
Mm-hmm.
people don't get bored with it and to actually finish the challenge before the game is over with. I mean, talk about $100 million. Like, that's that's going to take some time when you're doing things with not super large capacities and other things like that. Like right now, well, okay, we started out with $100,000 and a pickup truck. That's it. No properties, no nothing. Like that's what we started out with, and so we're all doing like contracts and stuff like that. So it's really funny. You know the map kind of like the startup crops,
Mhm.
and that field 17 has peas in it.
Yep.
Somebody took that contract. Now I'm not picking on Gallo, but Gallo he plays with the extra capacities, extra speeds, like everything. Like they don't ever worry about money. They just kind of do whatever they want to do. And oh,
Mhm.
it's peas, no problem. Except oh. So the other caveat is you cannot buy brand new and you can't lease equipment.
Oh, wow.
We have a mod that you can buy or that will have like up to 70 different options for the used sales
Okay.
at one time. So that gives you more options to be able to do things. But anyways, so he took that but you can borrow the equipment for the contracts. Um, but it's the base game equipment. Imagine doing the P contract with the base game P harvester.
Oh. Oh.
We knew I knew it was going to take him a minute, much longer than what we had time for. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave the server up all week. Spend as much time as you want to finish that contract, but don't do anything else. Right? Like, don't grab vehicles or whatever. Like, make it fair for everyone else. Um, I was like, you're more than welcome to finish your punishment, bro.
You picked your poison, now enjoy it.
Yeah, now you get to deal with it. Deal with the consequences. So now it's really funny because now everybody gives him crap about, are you gonna do peace today? He's like, no.
No. No, no, no.
So, anyways, yeah. Realistic ish, but not in the way that Clutch does it. So
I gotcha, I gotcha.
essentially the only thing that we're cheating on is how fast we can do the things, which again, that's just to make it so it's not completely boring for everybody to watch. So
For sure, for sure. Now, over the past several months that this show has been a thing, I've gotten a chance to interview several modders. One of them, off the top of my head, would be Gaming Joy, Star Spangled Mods, etc., etc. And one thing that I've kind of come to realize in talking to all the various people I've talked to is the sense of community that we have within the farm sim space is bar none one of the best that I've ever experienced. And the reason that I call out Gaming Joy and Star Spangled Mods in particular, and Cavalier Roy as well, um, is because there's this sense of, hey, if you're somebody that's out there that's working on a mod or a map or whatever, and you run into issues that, look, I'm not going to go out and do the work for you, but I'll help you along the way, kind of thing.
mhm.
Do you kind of take up that same kind of mentality of, hey, I might not know everything, but I will help where I can? Or is it just one of those where you're not in a space yet that you're comfortable with kind of, helping out to a great extent?
I will help out when I can if there's somebody that needs help with that because I got so much help on my stuff. Like it's kind of just more like a hey, people help me out, let me help you out kind of deal.
Kind,
And
kind of a pay it
Tony,
forward.
yeah, like okay, so Tony Miff, he's more of a Twitch guy, but he does have a YouTube channel, and he's been working on a map called Sharon, Ohio, and it's submitted to Mod Hub. he got his in late, so now he's on the full like wait period. So he's just been waiting. No, it's still pending, still pending. You know, that kind of deal.
Mhm.
But like I whenever I could, I helped him whenever he had questions. And so, but like, he's one of those dudes that he's not gonna be like, "Hey, I need help," but you could tell like, "Hey, he needs help." And
Mhm.
okay, so that it's I kind of pick and choose who I help because some people just like kind of demand it, and I'm like, No, that's not happening."
Yep.
But like if somebody's struggling, like I'm really trying to get this figured out, but I just can't figure it out, and say, you know anybody that can help me with like such and such, and I'm like, okay, I know this, like what you're dealing with, and so I should be able to help you here, or I know somebody who can help you with what your struggle is because I know what they're kind of trying to work on in one way or the other.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like my mindset.
Well, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier with the whole, the kind of poking fun or the gentle ribbing kind of thing is you can tell the difference between the gentle ribbing and the poking the fun versus like the
Yeah.
people who are being aggressive. And it sounds like you're kind of taking that same approach for like the people that you're able to help out with. It's like, hey, you can tell when somebody's like, hey, I really need some help. Is there any way you can help out? Versus, hey, help now, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Don't demand it. Like that's the quickest way for me to ignore you.
Mm-hmm. And what's wild is it just how often that kind of stuff happens. Like, y- I mean, like we were saying earlier, it's like common sense is no longer common. It's like, well, not only is common sense no longer common, it's, common courtesy as well. Seems to be a fleeting thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, if you had to give one bit of advice to somebody who's new to the world of modding, what would that advice be?
Don't be afraid to break it. Honestly. Okay, so I don't know anybody who just like starts going into modding 100% like, okay, I have Blender or I have Maya and I am just going to start building and I'm not going to like mess with other people's mods. 100% every modder at some point in time, they took somebody else's mod and just started fiddling around to toy with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you kind of get the same deal with like anybody wanting to try making a new channel or start a channel in general is like with the channel is like um today starting out today is too late. Like you should have started like yesterday,
Yep.
you know. And but I mean, and I'm not like roasting you or whoever might watch this that is like thinking about starting a channel. My only point was no time like the present to start. Like if you're thinking about it, just start doing it. Like the trial and error is what helps you grow for your channel. And then in the same deal with a mod, like let's just say you're messing with like a certain type of mod, like a tractor, right? I implore you to mess up that mod because A, you can re-download that mod at any point in time and start out fresh again. Like if it messed up, fine, start over and see what you did wrong. Like, that's that's what I'm saying. Like you're not gonna be able to do anything if you just sit there hoping that something happens. So that's kind of, you know,
No, and that absolutely makes perfect sense. Yeah, don't sit on your hands. Get to work.
yeah.
So, would you consider Farm Sim to be your favorite game? And if not, what is your favorite?
I should have 4B in here answering that question. Yeah, no, definitely Farm Sim is my favorite game. And I feel like I am probably the best at it.
Little humble brag. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Hear me out. Hear me out. Listen, Linda. No. Okay. So I have a memory, as you've already seen with like the movie stuff, right? Like I have a memory that just remembers how things work in Farm Sim. Like, A, I make it make sense. B, like I remember all the little things and the details and stuff like that. So like when it comes to like animals, like okay, I know you need this list of things to happen for the animals to be produced and be successful and all that fun stuff. Well, it's not just animals. It's like throughout the whole game. Like I know the ins and outs and what works, what doesn't work, that kind of thing. And so that's why I feel like I'm the best at it because I don't forget.
Okay. Okay,
um,
that seems fair.
yeah. So, anyways, it's like I said, like you said, humble brag, whatever. It is what it is. Like, okay, I did not win the last challenge, but that does not mean I'm not the best. It just means no, no. Hear me out before you get. So I had just gotten off of another challenge that ended not by my choice. The other person that I was doing is supposed to be like kind of like a dual survival deal, competing, or whatever. And the one of the concepts of that challenge was we could only use one production type. Like I could only have one sawmill done. I could have one bakery down. You know, that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Instead of multiple deals. Well, this last challenge, uh, some people may know who this person is, but he likes to do lumberjack and like you know trees is his main deal, and it's in his YouTube name. Anyways, so that was 100% his focus, and he put down like 10 sawmills and just went bananas with that, and it just so happened to be the best way to make money in the game. And basically, at that point, I had already lost because he had gotten so far ahead in day one, day two of it. Like, there's no way I could have caught up and like the focus. And so, anyways, that was like one of those like, okay, I see why my first challenge, the guy put up that like stipulation for a rule was, that way you can't just find the one way to make the best money. But now, like, with that, you have to kind of like think more like, okay, I can only get so much from this. I need to figure out another way to make money too,
I
you know?
gotcha.
And so that's why, and it's kind of nice because he's in my current challenge too. The guy that beat me. Okay. I participated in like, I'd say anywhere between 5 and 8 like farming challenges since my YouTube started. The last one is the only one I lost.
Okay.
And so that's why I think it was a apparition and um I'll get back to, finishing in the top.
Well, like the
Not
Phoenix, we look forward to your triumphant rise.
right? Yeah, no doubt. We'll see. I mean, if somehow I don't win it, I don't think so, but if somehow I don't, then okay, then it starts becoming a trend, and I will humbly retract my thought process of being the best at it. So, anyways,
So, of the maps that have been announced for FS25 coming up so far, is there any that are coming out that you're kind of looking forward to the most, or?
the update on Waseca County.
That is
I mean,
very, very important coming up.
I mean, I the map's a map, right? Like the map, like okay, yes, maps can look better. Maps can have more detail. They can like, oh, this feature here, this feature there. I've not heard of any like map features coming up that is like, oh, I have to have that, right? Um, again, I think, me being biased, I really think that once we're able to implement the sweet corn and have that as a crop, and it's throwing out, the corn ears, the ears of corn, and like, because we're gonna also put together some like different productions
Okay.
with it. Um, One's gonna be just like a crate of corn that you're selling like they would sell at Walmart, right? Like a big pallet of sweet corn just just from the field in a crate, and that's one of the productions. Another one's gonna be like canned corn, another one's gonna be frozen corn, and then I don't know if there's gonna do something else with that or not, but so it's gonna have more options to it. I and the fact that it's gonna have a very specific harvester that I think a lot of people wanted whenever
Mm-hmm.
Giants initially announced more equipment for Oxbow. Because that's the harvester I'm making is the Oxbow sweet corn harvester. Which they use that same model for not just sweet corn but also seed corn. Now, I don't think we're gonna do anything with that, but maybe I could, and that's the way I can make that a standalone mod eventually. But for now, it's gonna be just the sweet corn, and that's gonna be a thing to just continue pushing people to like play on my map.
Nice. I like
Like
it.
it's like an exclusive, but then eventually maybe like the last year of Farm Sim 25, and I'll go ahead and release a seed corn pack, which all that's gonna do is you take that harvester and you could just harvest your regular corn. Let's say no, it would have to be dry corn actually. So it would be cutting that, putting it in, and then they just, there would be production that also comes in that pack that turns that just into seed.
Okay. That's cool.
So, yeah.
So, a couple of questions that I ask every single person, whether they're a modder, map maker, content creator, whatever they are. One question I ask is, in the months and weeks that were leading up to FS25, they were starting the whole slow drip of information to us. Drip, drip, drip. Hey, we're gonna get ground deformation. Hey, we're gonna get God rays. Hey, we're gonna get fog. All these kind of like different features and stuff that were gonna be a part of FS25. What's that one feature that when you were seeing all the advertisements coming out for FS25, what was that one thing that you were like, that's what I'm really excited to see?
Twisters.
I
If
gotcha.
anybody's played my map, they know that there's more twisters on that than your typical map. So,
Oh, so you like pumped up the spawn frequency?
yes. Yep.
Okay.
And it's in spring and summer. So,
I gotcha. You know what's funny is I've been playing, since the game release, I've still yet to see even one tornado in,
really?
yeah,
You haven't
not
been
one.
playing my map enough then.
I haven't. I really haven't. Oh, like I've seen all the other
You're
weather. Like I've
fired.
seen this interview is over. Click.
Oh, that would be hilarious if I just hung up on you.
I mean, I don't know if I'd find it hilarious, but
Well, I'd come right back. I would just, did you hang up on me? I don't know. So this click.
I don't know. Did it sound like this? I forget what movie that was. Anyways,
Oh, it's actually a comedian that did uh oh yeah, it was Jeff Dunham with Walter.
Yes, you're right.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, that he is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Um, so in the same vein, what's that one feature that you're initially excited for, but immediately soured on, or very quickly soured on?
The extra machines from Oxbow
I
because
gotcha.
there was no sweet corn harvester.
So there's a regular on my channel. Big shout out to Will T Gaming, the FS Encyclopedia, as we affectionately call him, and
Hmm.
he is absolutely to this day devastated that the Oxbow merger is still not a thing here in Farm Sim 25.
Oh, wasn't that one in 22?
Yep, it was part of the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that is interesting. That's not all right. Hmm, weird.
that's the one thing that he constantly, it's like, oh, the Oxbow merger. I would love to have that
Yeah.
back in game. And it's
Well,
like
there's something similar to that, isn't there?
there's something similar, but that was the one thing that
Yeah.
he was like, that was his bread and butter.
Right. That's funny, but yeah,
So
makes sense.
what's one feature in just in general that you would love to see in FS that is not there?
One feature that's not in FS I would love to see there.
And that isn't
Um,
available as like a mod or something like that. Like, what's that one thing that you wish was just part of the base game?
base game, but maybe a mod like on PC only or just
I mean,
in general.
it could fill the need of it being a mod, but what's the one thing that you would just wish like Giants like would
Um,
take the initiative to put just base game?
I think this is okay. So the whole point of Farming Simulator is to bring the whole like this is how food is made, right?
Yep.
Like, and this is how the work you put in to do the stuff to obviously make money, but also to produce food for people to eat. Well, what is the one thing that a lot of us eat the most, unless you're vegan?
Meat.
Meat.
Mm-hmm.
I want a meat production that allows us to sell the cattle off to do that. Like it's just you sell it back and that's all it is. That like we need that option, which we're never gonna get it because then the rating will not be E, which
Yep.
is dumb. But I at least think that they should allow or make it easier for. I mean, not sorry console players, but just make it easier for PC guys to be able to do that instead of trying to do all kinds of weird trickery to get it to work how you want it.
Yeah. No, and I'm right there with you. That's one thing that I really wish was part of base game. And what's wild is, and I know I had this on console, but there was a mod at some point for 22 where there was the intention of making what you're talking about, because there was like the outputs, the various, like, not fruit types, but just types of creations in general that show on the lists that were available for
Mhm.
sale and all that stuff. It had, like, packaged beef and like all this stuff, like pork and all that stuff. It was all like the
Right.
cutlets, but it didn't have like the actual production of it itself. So I know that
Right.
there was somebody out there who was tweaking and doing something with that, but they must have had like, no, 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 we can't do that kind of thing, talk with
Right.
giants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those, I would love to see that
Which
same thing come out.
if it doesn't have the sounds and it doesn't have the visual and all it is a box that says beef on it, like what's the big deal? I don't get why that's the big problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could just be beef package or chicken package, and it's just like a brown box that has beef on it or like the word chicken or like that's it. Like I mean, how is that going to affect the rating? I don't see how that's possible, but maybe the laws are different over there than they are here, and that's probably why.
Yeah, and I would guess that that's most likely it. But this is also the same game that took away a cartoon-styled Grim Reaper off the side of a Harvester.
Well, to be fair, the Grim Reaper is a little scary.
Yeah, yeah, definitely
And
symbolizes a
and
few things.
and it could be taken as like, Sons of Anarchy. I'm just saying.
The sons of corn,
Right.
the sons of soybean.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. So, what's one of the most memorable moments you've had in your either your modding, portion of your career so far, or your content creation career so far?
Does going to Goham's house twice count?
That would be pretty memorable. That would be extremely memorable, I would think.
Um, I will say though, end of 19. 'Cause you said you started 22, right? Or was it?
So I started playing in 19, but content creation was in 22.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it was the last live stream of FS 19. Um, this will flip your lid. Um, Honestly, I think maybe not. Anyways, so basically, we were on PC only, but we were on Stone Valley 4X. The entire map was covered in beans. Like all the fields were soybeans,
Okay.
ready to harvest, whatever. So basically, I got a few of my content creator buddies involved. We used the Omatana's wooden silo deal,
Mm-hmm.
and each one of us had our own silo with our own logo on it, whatever. And essentially, um, we all had contractors for everybody else. And I forget if it was whoever had the most in their silo lost or something like that. Anyways, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. The point is we were having fun with it. We had these huge. I think it was kind of like the Colossus before the Colossus was the Colossus, and it was I think it was the Fent Harvester with a triple wide header on it, stuff like that. Former Pickle did a video outside of that on it, but it was hilarious. So we had okay at the time it was Faber Farming, it was Driver 53. I think we had Farmer Cop in there. Um, Definitely the Formal Pickle. Me, I can't remember if Clutch was in that one or not. But yeah, I mean, I think even Goham was partook in this particular one. I can't remember exactly, but literally, like you name it, other than Squad, they were there. At least from the American creator type side of things. Um, that was like the funnest time. And it was really hilarious. Oh what? Oh yeah, that's right. OGF was there too. It was hilarious because we were all supposed to get those crazy harvesters because they all had our logos on them. And here comes the formal pickle in a bison. Like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna win this thing with this bison, guys.
It's almost like the full Leroy Jenkins.
Right. Yeah. And it was literally like, okay, only the formal pickle would do that.
And for those of you that don't understand the reference that I just made, go to Google and look up Leroy Jenkins. You will be in stitches. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could
So
see
yeah,
that.
he's going like 12 miles an hour because that's all the faster that harvester would go. every other harvester can go like 100 miles an hour. And we're always like, are you freaking kidding me?
So, you know what? I'll save this for you behind the scenes. We'll talk about that one later.
Okay, okay. I can send you the link to that live stream because it's hilarious, honestly. Like the
Oh,
whole thing was just one pure like endless joke.
I could totally see that. They're just being hysterical. Just the former pickle just kind of dredging along to do 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 do.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So let's see. You had mentioned that there was a creator out there who you kind of started with the whole started your kind of FS rabbit hole down. And forgive me, I can't remember. Was it Silver
Silver News.
Silver News? Um, would you say that there's anybody out there in particular that you kind of draw inspiration from?
Can you guess?
I could take a few stabs.
Yeah, I mean, you between the laugh and just the way I start videos and stuff like that, like 100%, it is Go Ham. Like, I try to distance myself from like doing the same stuff that he does, but you know, when you watched him, you're basically you started you ever watching like content creation on the YouTubes, like, it's kind of hard to get away from that. But well, some of it just makes sense. Like you're gonna make a lot of money on silage, so you're gonna do grass work, and oats is really quick crop to do. So why
Mm-hmm.
not? But I also do stuff way more crazy than he would ever do in his videos. So there's that. Um,
That's awesome. And that's really
I
saying
mean,
something because I've seen some crazy stuff from him.
I kind of even have the color like scheme. Like, well, this actually is purple, but it probably looks blue to you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah. So
Oh my goodness. So that is all the questions that I have for this segment here. Now I'm going to turn back to the audience one more time to see what everybody has had to say up until this point. So again, well, let me thank you, Dust Bunny, one last time here for all your gathering. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. We've got one from Whiskey Creek Farms. Whiskey, thank you so much for your question. Says, why is there not a train in Waseca County?
because there's no train in that area of Waseca County.
Question asked and answered.
Now, on that 9X version, that area might reach up to where the train actually is, and then it would be one there.
Nice. Okay. Well, there you go, Whiskey. If you got your PC up and running, then you'll be good to go. Again, thank you so much for your question there, Whiskey. We got another one from Ken says, "What's your opinion on the latest Westbridge map on FS25?"
I haven't touched it because I mean we've had that map for every single version of the game, and at some point you just kind of gotta let it go.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not ripping on it. It's a good map. It was probably the best map that Giants ever came up with. Um, but it was good for 15. That's definitely a J Turk question, Plowboy. Um, but yeah, and it's just like, and I'll tell you exactly what J Turk would say. Oh, it's not the best version of Westbridge Hills, but it'll do. And I'm just like, yeah. Anyways, no. I don't know. I mean, am I gonna touch it at some point in time? We'll see. I right now, I don't see myself getting off of Waseca County for the entire, like I said, the entirety of the game. We'll see what other maps come out. I am on uh a thing with 4B on Alma, and then the Quest server I'm on with Judas Plains. So
Okay, so apparently you can predict the future. Again, Ken, thank you so much for your question. Next question is from Davies. Thank you again for yours. Says Matsy, did you ever play Alma, Missouri?
Yeah, I may or may not have seen that on the chat a while back, but yeah, no, I am currently on a server with 4B with Alma, Missouri, and the thing is, it's funny because or not 19 in 22, like I started playing on that, and then Zelonka came out, and I was stupid and stopped playing on it, and went with Zelonka full force with my videos. And I told 4B that, hey, you should do Alma, Missouri, and his channel blew up. And so now I felt like, well, I have to do it now because I failed miserably in 22. I'm like, almost like, like, really? Like, come on, bro. And now, like, that's kind of direct competition with my map. Well, I mean, when you hear people talk about good American maps for Mod Hub, it's Alma, Missouri, and Waseca County. Like 100%, that's what people are saying.
Yeah.
More so, people are on Alma because again, the outside of the map matches the inside. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully here before too much longer, we'll get that update and we will
Yeah.
see not only a beautiful interior of a map, but also a beautiful exterior as well.
Right.
Again, thank you so much for your question there, Davies. We got one from Gold Gaming. Gold says, what is your favorite Mod Hub and non-Mod Hub map of all time? Not your own.
Damn it.
He beat you to the punch.
There you go. There you go. All-time Mod Hub map and non-Mod Hub map. Well, technically speaking, Stone Valley 4X was on Mod Hub,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not my favorite Mod Hub map. So that one cannot be that. Um favorite Mod Hub map. Let's see. That's there's a lot of maps
There's been a few
to
over the
choose
years.
from, you know? Like, okay. So originally, originally it was on 17, I believe, but only PC, but came out on 19 for Mod Hub. And that would be Pacific Northwest.
Oh, that was a good map. Mm-hmm.
Good map. It had, the sight lines, it had, whatever. And then I took it and made it very beautiful in 25 and 22. Um I would have loved to have released it to Mod Hub, but the original maker of said map, he's not very let's just say he's not very nice.
Well, what's funny is I swore for a moment I had gotten a glimpse of Pacific Northwest on the Mod Hub, or at least at some news or something. Like there was something. It's like I saw it and I was like, oh, there it is,
Yes.
and I was really excited about seeing it, and then all of a sudden it was gone.
I don't think it was Shanty Boys, but some modding group did have a deal and they were trying to get a hold of the map makers themselves, and basically again they got the same like thought process from said map maker.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually they changed it up and it became Deadwood.
Okay.
So if you get on the map, which I don't even have 22 on my computer anymore, but if you got on there, played on Deadwood, you would see a lot of similarities between that and Pacific Northwest.
Wow, now you're gonna make me
Look,
go and check that out because
you're welcome.
I got some homework tonight.
Although I do have it on my PS5 though, so technically I could just fired up on there. But yeah, no, it is like me and them both were doing a conversion on it. I didn't really plan on doing Mod Hub, but then finding out what the original map maker said to them, I'm like, yeah, gross. No,
Mm,
I'll just I just did a private release on my Discord,
okay, okay.
so like where I could I wasn't making money off of it, but I'm still basically sharing it with people, you know, that potentially want to play on it. So, and that's a I honestly I think I did better on it than the original map maker did for 19, like in the 22 version because okay, so you remember the outside of that map in 19, like it was kind of more like just wavy hills,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but like Pacific Northwest is more like higher elevation, like you're literally like in some of the mountains, right?
Absolutely.
And so I grabbed the outside, I believe it was from the Alpine map.
Oh, Erlengrad, was it?
Yes,
Yes.
Stalingrad, where it's more like mountainousy on the outside.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool. It's the way I have it set up. The some of that mountainy in 22 casts a shadow on like half the map. Like
Okay.
at like 8 p.m. is really kind of neat.
That sounds really
So,
cool.
oh, okay. So, Poor Boy Modding and Bruce's Gaming Modding for Deadwood, Jacob said
Yes. Yep, yep, yep.
in your chat. But anyways, so yeah, so 19 version of that would be probably my favorite Mod Hub version or Mod Hub map. So now we're going PC, which that really opens up quite a few things. But but I'm probably gonna have to go with a map that I converted to 22 as well on that one as well, and that would be Nitro Dad's Susquehanna River Valley.
Oh wow. Yeah, me being a console gamer, I have no idea what you're talking about there. That flies right over
Ooh,
my head.
ooh, I should show you sometime. Um, but yeah, no, if it wasn't such a pain in the neck to convert, I would do that as well for 25. But now I got I got other stuff that had priority,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like Sweet Corn and you know 9X version and then other maps. So
That's awesome. I cannot wait for that update. Let's see. Gold Gaming, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got Whiskey Creek with another question. It says, do you have any plans for another map? And yes.
yeah, we've already fully. And the funny thing is, once I start working on it, it's probably not going to take that long. I'm not saying it'll take half the time. Okay, so if it, oh, you got lightning over there.
Quite possible.
I hope you have battery backup. No, um, always get battery backup, people. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
that's a public service announcement. Yeah.
Gotta love those PSAs.
Right. Um. Yeah. So the northern Minnesota one is gonna be more focused on like forestry and nature and like I said, waterfalls and cliffs and stuff like that. Like it's gonna be more like it won't have as many ditches like Waseca County does, but that's just because up there in northern Minnesota they don't really have the runoff ditches. It's more just like forestry, lakes, and some fields. Like that's it. There's not really. I mean, we'll probably have some ditch like in the near the fielded areas, but once you get into the mountainy areas and the forestry areas, it's gonna be more rough roads. So it'd be kind of cool. And I think, like I said, that one would probably would that one would definitely be a little bit easier and a little bit faster to produce. So that'd be interesting.
So with that new one that you're gonna make on northern Minnesota, is it based on a specific area like Waseca, or is it going to be just kind of a generalized style of northern
Um,
Minnesota?
Okay, so there is gonna be a river there, and that's gonna be kind of like Mississippi River esque, like more so like okay, so at the source or the start of the Mississippi River, you can walk across it, like because it's that shallow. It's only a couple feet deep and like I don't know, like 20 feet wide or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like a nice place to come visit, like summertime, whatever. Not this summer because it hasn't even been summer yet here, but well, we've had storms, but I just mean like it hasn't really stayed like warm. But
Must be nice.
so it's gonna be more fictional because there's like the stuff I want to do on the map. I can't fit on a standard map and get all the things I want it to be and it be realistic.
Okay.
So it's more on the idea of what northern Minnesota would be if you put all of northern Minnesota together in one map.
I gotcha.
So you have Mississippi River, you have cliffs, like you're, you know, over there closer to Duluth, where it's much more hilly. But then, like, you also have the flatlands of the water. Oh, and I'm sorry, guys, for the precision farming map. It's gonna be more like 100% like on the low areas, gonna be sandy loam, and up in the higher areas, it's gonna be the silty clay because you don't want to farm up there. Well, it's mostly rock, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get like northwestern Minnesota, that's like area where you're running into way more like sugar beets and taters type of stuff because the ground is like very sandy. It's easier to do those
Mm-hmm.
types of things there. So,
No, it's awesome
anyways.
because it's details like that that really get people to think like outside the box. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to have these attributes that are going to be more specific to a specific region, well, then it's going to naturally encourage people to take certain approaches, and you're going to have to compensate for it. I like that. I think that's kind of a
Mhm.
cool little addition.
Yeah.
Let's see. Whiskey, again, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. Got two more, and these are going to be the last questions from the chat. Got Bubba Like one says, Matsy, how is the progress on the International 1206
I don't think it's a 1206, but okay, so
or
me- y-
1066?
yeah, 1066. There you go. You remember the hydro from the International Pact, the 25-year anniversary in 22? It came with like a new case and it came with the old like International 1066 hydro.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep, yep.
Yeah. So that is something that I would love to be able to squeeze in on the last update on Waseca County, Minnesota. Mostly because okay, so growing up, I grew up on the start farm. Like literally, like it was a farm all. Basically, my dad had three different farm alls that he used on the farm. And the two properties that you start out with on there is literally the two properties that he used it on. Can you imagine using just that tractor for farming that area?
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna take a hot minute.
And that's close to reality as far as how like the size of the tractor is versus base to the property area. So that's anyway, so that's why he asked that. Honestly, I'm not sure what Keith all has left to do on that because that's kind of like what he's been working on. But now he's the one that's teaching me how to do those stuff, and so he's been kind of busy with summer stuff, like he always is every summer. So
So I
hopefully
don't.
we can get squeezed in there, but we'll see.
So I don't know about anybody else out there, but this is part of the reason why I absolutely adore doing these interviews is that if I was just the, casual, whether a YouTuber, player, whatever the case may be, I would come across Wasika and it's like, hey, this is a really solid map, right? I really like it. It's a really good one. But getting an opportunity to sit back and chat with you and kind of hear all these stories that you're telling us about, well, it's, the old family farm and the kind of connections to the 1066 and all that. It's things like that that kind of makes it just that next layer deeper and special. Um,
Right.
and if it wasn't for this show, I personally, I don't have the time to be able to go out to a great deal many of other content creators or other things like that. So I don't get an opportunity to be able to absorb all this information if it's widely available out there. Um,
Right.
but being able to do this now, I get to learn things like this. I get to learn that, hey, this was your family's farm, where you grew up and stuff like that. So it's really special, and I'm uh, really excited to find out things like this. And again, it just makes Wasika just that next level deeper for somebody like me, and even the casual observer who may not be familiar with your content.
Hmm.
Let's see. So again, Bubba, thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate it. And like I said, that is the last question here for the evening. I want to first off thank you very much, Trucker Matzy, for coming out here tonight and doing this interview. I had an absolute blast here with you tonight. I don't think I've laughed this hard in quite some time.
I have that effect on people.
I could I could see it. I could absolutely see it. So outside of what we discussed here tonight, do you have any other future plans or projects that you want to let us know?
Um, that's kind of it, honestly. Like, okay, so we already went over the sweet corn deal. We went over the hopefully final update on Waseca County. We talked about the auger, um, and then maybe potentially seed corn harvester down the line, uh, separate from the map on that. And then the next potential maps. I mean, I don't know if, like I said, what once we get the update done, Waseca County, then do the larger version of Waseca County, and then get the map. I'm not sure where that will be time wise for us. Like, when I say us, I mean the channel and stuff like that. I probably will come up with some ideas and stuff like that, figure some stuff out. But oh, one idea. So last weekend I went down to Nebraska to celebrate 4B's birthday. It was a surprise. His wife called or messaged and said, "Hey, we're doing this party for him. You want to come down?" I'm like, "Heck yeah! Anytime to mess with him, it'd be a good time, right?" Um, while I was down there, I was with Cowboy Farmer, who actually is a real rancher, and we were just looking at the different stuff that he does and stuff like that. And we looked at a planter that they actually use on the farm or on the ranch or whatever, and it's an older, like white branded like planter. It's similar size or whatever to like the base game planter that's like I think it's like 7 rows or 9 rows wide or something. I can't remember how wide it is. Anyways, so I took I'd say like 10 to 15 pictures of it, and I may try to model it from scratch.
Oh wow.
Um, again, it just depends on how things happen and stuff like that. That would be kind of like we'll see.
That'd still be pretty cool though.
But
Like going
I know
right
we
from scratch.
yeah, I know we technically have white in game now with the Atco white, but I don't know if this is the same white and if that would fall underneath that or not. So if Giant says we can't do that because of the branding, then it would just be a lizard version for the console. So
Well, here's hoping that you're able to get to it and
yeah,
bring it out to the community. That'd be awesome.
right.
Now, out of curiosity, I'm pretty sure when I was doing my research, on your channel and whatnot, I saw the like you going out for a birthday party. Like you showed up at
Yes.
like at almost like a surprise. It seemed like because
Yes.
Okay, so it was the same thing I was thinking of.
Same. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I did a little vlog on it. So
Nice, nice. Okay, you were talking. It's like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar, and they just kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
yeah, yep, same one.
Awesome, awesome. Do you want to remind us where we can find you?
Oh, yes. YouTube Trucker Matzy or Trucker underscore Matzy. Uh, I'm just looking at the stuff you have on the stream. Facebook Trucker Matzy Gaming. X. I need to post on that more. Trucker underscore Matzy and Twitch again. Trucker underscore Matzy. So, um, oh, and then if you guys really want to see some other stuff whenever the new racing game comes out, Matzy Gaming would be that YouTube. So we'll see how much I actually put on that channel or not. That's why I didn't have you like post it because like it wasn't even like a thought in my mind. Like, you know,
I
like
gotcha.
I don't even know if maybe I put one video on there. I can't remember honestly, but come time when the game comes out, I might start a stream up on the Trucker Matzy one and then like raid into the Matzy Gaming deal just so people can kind of follow that when I'm doing stuff on that. So, anyways,
Excellent,
yeah.
excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you so very much for coming out here tonight and hanging out with us and doing this interview. Like I said, I had an absolute blast, and I hope you did too.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Excellent.
I, the best part was when I caught you mid drink about the cream filled donuts.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's gonna live.
You might need to clean up your desk a little bit. I'm just saying. I think I
That's
saw something fly out.
that's gonna live rent free in my brain for a little while. And as anybody who has seen that movie will completely understand why.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So this is the part of the show where I turn to the audience and ask if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight and want to continue seeing this. I ask that you go ahead and message me out directly and let me know who is it out there that you would like me to reach out to try and get them onto the show. It's impossible for me to know everybody who's out there. There's so many people out there, so many content creators, modders, map makers, etc., who exist within the farm sim community that I could bring onto the show. So if you have a favorite content creator, a favorite map maker, modder, whoever it may be, go ahead and reach out to me directly, whether it's on Discord, Facebook, X, whatever the case may be. Reach out to me and I will do my best to go ahead and reach out to them and get in touch with them and bring them onto the show. But again, thank you all so very, very much. I greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, go ahead and show us by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care. Trucker, hang on just 1 second until after the outro, and I'll catch you on the other side. All right.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.